promote whatever.
Let's do it.
Make fun of whoever. That's
I
the
love
best
it.
thing about me. I like to fly off the wall.
I'm good with that, dude. You know me. I'm
As
off the
long as Miss
cuff.
Bethany doesn't have anything to do for a while, because man, I think we're live right now.
Are we live? We're live.
I
Live.
believe. I believe
Live.
so. I believe we're live here on the YouTubes. Got Alex Rudd fishing here.
Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Mr. Kevin, how are you, sir?
Man, I'm good. 2 kids. I got a bunch of new baits in the mail.
Hey, there you go.
We may go through a few of those. Had a little good stream here last Saturday, and a bunch of the viewers decided to choose what I was going to buy on Tackle Warehouse, and it got expensive pretty quick.
Fun. I bet it did. Yeah. Tackle warehouse trips are not cheap, especially for me. I mean, even though I work with Strike King, there's still a bunch of stuff that Strike King obviously doesn't make, and I had to put in a big tackle warehouse order to get ready to go on a little trip that I got planned in October, and it set me back about $150. So.
Oh, that's not too bad. Speaking of Tackle Warehouse, I do watch your videos because I like your content. I noticed in the description you had a link to TW. Do you have an affiliate program with them now?
I do now. Yeah, I do. I got linked up with them a couple months back, and I was beyond jacked on that one because it's one that, it's one of those deals like I'm not a person who like uses one particular brand all the time or anything like that. I love Strike King, but if I'm using a Megabass, I want to tell you I'm using a Megabass. You know what I mean? And so it just gives me a chance to be like, hey, here's a chance for me to make a little bit of money on promoting this product, and you're going to help me out by helping me put some gas in my boat. You know what I mean? And keeping everything rolling. So.
Well, I am really glad to hear that. So next time I make a big giant TW order, I'll just go through your link. I like to help out my fellow volunteers.
That would be the kitty's titties, as me and Ben like to say.
Yeah, I like your style too. I like what you just said. I love Strike King, but if I'm going to talk about a Megabass, I'm going to. That's kind of how I roll too.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, because here's the deal. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. Everybody is good at something, right? And every company makes something just a little bit better than every other company, and so you got to stay on your toes. You got to use what works. So. Hey, just so you know, I'm going to apologize to everybody. Bethany just brought me some food in here because I've not ate dinner, so I'm going to be munching dinner while we do the live stream too. So,
that's fine.
Hey, I'm super professional, y'all. Super professional.
That's fine. Someone said my volume's a little low, which is my audio capabilities here are pretty rough. So let me see. I'll move my mic closer to me. Let's make sure, guys. Does that sound all right? If not, let me roll into the settings here and definitely mess something up. It's just probably going how it's going to go for now. Or I can shut. No. Hold on. All right, guys. How's my audio sound now? Now I can't hear Alex. That's great.
Here I am.
Okay, now I hear Alex. All right. Sounds better now. All right. Anyway, so let me ask you, Alex, how much fishing have you done lately? This chat's going to get crazy. We got 50 guys in here, so what I want, first off, all the guys in chat, make sure you hit the like button for us. Share whatever. It's YouTube share is totally different, but smash a like and all that good stuff. And if you got questions for Alex, I'll try to keep up in the chat. He's pretty good about it, so we'll talk about whatever. So just let it fly here. This is the Baitman show. We don't have anybody to answer to, really.
I love it.
But I will say, if we don't have that many viewers, it's probably because there is some college football on, but it's not the SEC, so I don't think that many people are going to be taken away.
Yeah. I kind of, that's what we were talking about before we got on here, is I'm not as invested into college football because SEC football's not on. And so if it's not UT or another SEC team, I'm just not super interested. Now, Clemson, I do like watching Clemson just because they are just good. You know what I mean? They're very good. Yeah. So I like watching them, and I like Dabo Sweeney, too. I think he's a good dude. But, yeah, I'm just not super invested in college football right now. I was telling Kevin, UFC's been my vice as of lately, and so I've been like really into the UFC fights. But the pay-per-views, like I only buy one maybe every 3 months, or if it's like a fight I really, really want to see. But yeah, so I'm waiting for college football to come back.
Well, the good thing is, at least with Bassmasters, we've got some more tournaments left. If you're into watching the bass fishing scene and whatnot. So, Whitewell Fishing, he's in the comments. He wants to know, have you seen any early signs of fall in your area? Dude, it's been raining crazy today, and usually my weather ends up going up toward you somehow.
Yeah, no, it's been So I got ran off the lake today by a little thunder boomer, but it's starting to happen, man. I always tell people the first thing that I notice in Tennessee, because it'll usually stay hot on into October, is the sun starts to get in that different position in the sky. You know what I mean? The days start to get shorter. That's really my first sign of fall. And then, things like your poplars and stuff like that, they'll start changing. They're the earliest things to change. But I fish a lot of rivers. A lot of dam discharge stuff, and that water usually is 10, 15, 20 degrees colder than the rest of the lake. And it's pretty crazy how the translation of that water temperature that, obviously when you're around that colder water, your air temperatures are going to be colder too, because it's just a lot of water. And those trees down on the river will change earlier than the trees down on Main Lake. And I think a lot of it just has to do is that air temperature starts to drop, and those trees just start to change their leaves, which is pretty crazy. But a little bit here and there. They're eating in the grass. I caught one punching today. That was it.
Is there one lake over there in East Tennessee you prefer over the others, or I notice you don't seem to really fish one body of water more than anything. You're jumping around quite a bit, and it's part of that has to be there's so many good lakes there around the Knoxville, East Tennessee area. You got a lot to choose from.
Yeah, that's really kind of the deal is, I jump around a lot. I mean, I'm a really big fan of river fishing. And so I go to a bunch of different rivers that run into a bunch of different lakes. So like this time of year, especially when it's hot, I'm focusing a lot on stuff like that. But then when the winter rolls around, man, I start going away from those kind of Tennessee river system lakes, those more grass lakes that I focus on in the summer. And that's when I really start jumping around to the highland reservoirs like Norris, Mountain Hill, Douglas, Cherokee, that kind of stuff. But this time of year, man, I'm a river rat. If there's cold water running in somewhere, that's where I want to be. So
yeah, that's actually the time you see. You live on the total, actually what I would consider the start of the Tennessee River. And I live on where it dumps in to basically the Ohio River near Paducah. And this is the time of year, you'll probably see it more in the next month, where below Kentucky Dam, the actual Tennessee River starts fishing really good, especially for smallmouth. Like he can start catching them on A-rigs, big spinner baits and stuff like that. The shad started getting going and all that, but the cool thing is there's no pressure down there. They have tournaments out of the Paducah, the riverfront, Ohio, and people run up there, but it's nothing like Kentucky Barkley Lakes. Because most people think, oh, God, it's the river, it's terrible. Man, there's some guys here that absolutely jack some big brown fish. I mean, I've seen some guys catch some 25-pound bags in the winter down there.
That's crazy, dude. I mean, that's kind of the thing, though. I mean, the whole Tennessee River system's like that. Those dam discharges, Pickwick, Wilson, Wheeler, Chickamauga, Watts Bar, man. I mean, if you want a chance to catch a giant bag of brown fish without having to go, above Kentucky somewhere, above Ohio somewhere, getting up north, like way up north, that's the place to do it. The only deal is it can be really dangerous.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if you don't know how to fish that water, like, I've seen dudes tear up their boats, about near get thrown out of their boats. Like, it's just not a super safe place to be if you don't get how that fishing works.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very underrated because it always cracks me up when Ben's talking smallmouth fishing, and I'm watching, I like to watch Ben's channel. Talking about Ben Nowak, great guy, by the way. Alex's best friend. He's always doing his smallmouth thing, and even Smallmouth Crush, they're talking about the best baits for smallmouth and all this. And I'm just staring at it dude, I've caught them on a Magnum spoon, and I've caught dozens on a 10XD.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
our fish are so much different in the South than they are up north.
Oh dude, I've caught 4 and 5 pound smallmouth down here that have palm my bluegill as big as my hand in their throat. I mean, they just are completely different killing machines. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like my favorite thing to throw for them in the winter is an 8-inch swim bait. Like that's my go-to if I want to catch a giant smallmouth.
Yeah, it's weird, man. People from up north come down here and they're bringing their finesse tubes and Ned rigs and drop shots, and you can catch them on that, no, without a doubt. But it's a whole
Oh yeah.
different game. It's not like you drift a tube over a big flat here and you hit a rock pile. If whatever you're catching largemouth on, you pretty much catch smallmouth on.
Yeah.
I've not seen a bait too big for them here. They're built different. And I think a lot of that's because our forage, we got so many gizzard shad and big bluegill, they've had to learn to adapt to eat bigger stuff.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, one of the biggest smallmouth I caught last year was a dang near 6 pounder. I caught it on an 8-inch mag draft on a flat, and like it was just up there pushing gizzard shad. It was that late winter kind of almost early springtime. You know, all those gizzard shad had pushed up onto this flat. They were sunning, they were moving around, and that smallmouth I guess was up there just focused in on them. And I slow rolled that mag drive by him, and I mean he dang near jerked the rod out of my hand. It is crazy. The I think, and that's what happens to him. You know, that's why you can go below Pickwick, Wheeler, Wilson, and catch an 8-pound smallmouth. And I've seen several come out of those places. You know what I mean? And I think it's just because they're eating such big bait that, you know, and then plus you have the added benefit of most of them are 21, 22, 23 inches long.
Yeah, they're big.
And they're big. I mean, you go up north, you know, I caught 586 this year up there with Ben, and the thing was like 19 and a quarter or something like that. I mean, but it was a football of a fish. Whereas down here, you catch that same fish and it's 24 inches long.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just insane, dude.
They're really long here. I don't think people, you don't know until you've experienced, but a 5-pound smallmouth here is, you know, it's a big one. It looks like a big fish. It's long. Whereas one up north is like a football. I'm going to answer some questions. We're going to answer some questions. I don't like to chat. I like to keep the chat involved here. Clay Brisdine, what's up, Clay? He wants to know, Alex, do you throw any balsa baits or flat sides? I know he likes to.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah, dude. I have 4 or 5 boxes full of crankbaits that I keep with me at all times. I love cranking. Thank you. My wife's the best.
She seems really sweet. Just from her limited camera time, I think she keeps you together pretty well.
Oh, dude, she does. If it wasn't for her, my head would be detached from my body somewhere. My body would be running around tackling shit. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, man. So I keep a lot of crankbaits in the boat with me. I mess around with a lot of old school balsa baits, handmade jobs.
That's what I'm
stuff
talking about.
Oh yeah, dude, and it's stuff that Dad accumulated over his years of fishing, and then kind of passed along to me. And it's a lot of stuff, man, that it scares me to death to throw because you'll never get another one. You know what I mean? But definitely, I mess with a lot of that kind of stuff. Mimic Lures is one.
Oh man,
that
Kelly Stooksbury.
Yeah, yep. My dad actually helped Kelly machine his first crankbait ever, because my dad sells cutting tools, and he helped to machine out some of those crankbaits, and so we've got some of the OG like prototypes. And it's just, dude, those things are fish catching machines.
I know they are. I'm fixing to pull one out here because I have not found another one like it ever. So I bought this at the Bassmaster Classic, and I think it's the one at Lake Wiley, Takahiro one. Guy talked me into buying it. They had a booth there. It might have been Kelly himself, and I have smashed them on this thing. It's this guy right here. This is like the David Walker signature series.
Hold it down.
Oh yeah, I gotta hold it down.
A little bit. Down more. There it is. Nope, right there.
Oh yeah, you're looking at my laptop webcam where everybody else is looking at the big webcam. I'm sorry. But yeah. So it's got that purple back. You know, we love the purple.
Yes.
Little yellow. Yeah. And it's got a copperish white, but it's got David Walker's signature on the bottom. And it's cast like a potato chip, so I have to use really a light line and a medium action rod. But dude, I've never found another one. I found guys that's made it in a shallow diver, But this one gets down to about 6 to 8 foot realistically. Dude, it smashes. Early winter or late winter, that thing. But Stewksbury makes some awesome baits, man. Matter of fact, Mark Menendez, which is a great friend of mine, I do his TV show stuff, and he's been asking me, dude, do you think you can get any mimics? Do you know where they're at? And a lot of people don't realize he basically made all the Strike King custom shot Balsa stuff that they put out a few years ago.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like, fantastic baits. You know what I mean? And so, we got a lot of that stuff. And then we've got some stuff, man, that's like, they're one-offs. You'll never find them again. Right. You know what I mean? There's something that somebody made, or they made 10 of, or Dad's got a few of like Ott's old baits that he used to make in his garage, and like it's so I dabble with it for sure. It's honestly one of those things. I don't want to throw them because I don't want to lose them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's stuff that I know they catch fish. I've got 2 or 3 of them. And like maybe if I was fishing for $100,000, I'd whip them out on them. But I keep them in the box and throw the plastic alternatives as much as I can, just so that I'm not upping my chances of losing them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. Like some of these I've got in this box. Like I love the old Bomber Flat A's Bill Dance colors.
Yes.
I'd like to have 2 or 3 of each color, but realistically, it's so hard to find. I only got 1. I'll fish them. I've luckily found enough contacts now where my boy Epic Eric, if I was to lose one, I could probably buy one from him. But the DT flats I've hoarded up, but now you got Ott's bait that DT Slim coming out, so that'd make me feel better about throwing my DT flats if I lose one.
That thing looks really good. I mean, it is essentially what he used to build in his garage.
Mm-hmm.
They've just mass produced it. You know what I mean? So it's gonna work. And I can't wait to get my hands on a few of those. Honestly, I think it's gonna be a really, really good crankbait.
Yeah, I did get in my TW order. I got some of the new Rapala colors. That root beer has always been like a Tennessee River color here. It kind of started out in the Bandit Rattle Trap. Their stuff looks good, man. I think Rapala does a really good job. Now, are their baits the most durable? No, they're not. But they catch fish.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The only thing I don't like is this. I'm not a big VMC hook fan. I've never have been. I've had some really bad experiences with them, and so
I'm not either.
I always switch them out.
I'm pretty much going to, when I want to, like if it's tournament time, I'm really getting really serious about it, I'm going to switch all that stuff out. I'm going to go Owner or Gamakatsu. But, when I'm just fishing, I don't care. But dude, you lose a lot of fish on VMCs, and I've had some break. You know what I mean?
That's me. That's breaking. I've broke a lot. Like I bought a pack. They were on sale or something, and it was the flipping hooks, straight shank flipping hooks. After the second fish, I broke the hook off in their head. I was like, yeah, I'm done with this, and I started digging through the boat, like looking for something different, man. And but I straight broke off a straight shank flipping hook, actually 2 in a fish's head. Like I come back and it's just a straight shank, no bend, no hook.
Oh man, that's not good. I the one hook from VMC I do throw, and I actually catch a lot of fish on, is that Neko hook. But if I could find a solid replacement, that an owner makes a new sniper, Neko sniper, that's probably the one I'm going to go with.
Dude, do it. I've been using it. I've been using it now. Since I got back from Ben's. Ben introduced me to it, and I hadn't used it. And dude, I've been using it wacky rigging, and like it sticks them and holds them like nothing else will. Like it is the weirdest. It's a very strange shape.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's not the same shape as the VMC.
It's not, and it's like there's something about that bend in that hook and the way that hook travels when it hooks them, that I'm always hitting them in the hard part of the mouth. And it's like the hardest hook to get out. Like I most of the time have to take my pliers and actually like get a hold of that hook and pull that hook out, because the way that it hooks them, man, it just gets in that meat and it like doesn't want to let go. It's almost like you can't get leverage on it. So I know if my hands like articulating can't get a hold and get leverage on that hook, those fish aren't going to be able to get leverage on that hook. And I've honest to God not lost a fish yet on that hook on a wacky rig, where I was losing fish before on just your traditional wacky rig style hook.
Yeah. I probably haven't got into wacky rigging as much until about 2 or 3 years ago because, let's be honest, Kentucky Lake is you just didn't finesse fish a lot. I mean, I'd wacky rig in the spring, right before they'd go on the beds and stuff like that, and then you didn't need a spinning rod after that. Now, with the carp stuff and all our bad spawns and as tough as it's got, you pretty much need like 3 or 4 spinning rods on deck. So I've gotten pretty
Yeah.
proficient with the Neko. I like the Neko rig better, but the wacky rig's got a time and place. I feel like if you want a slow fall, more of a horizontal presentation, wacky rig
Yeah.
can't be beat. But if you want it to like go straight down, Neko rig, that's the deal. Like I like, if I'm fishing laydowns or stumps, it's in that deeper water or beside a boat dock, I like a Neko rig to go.
Yeah.
But if I want it to like hang in, slowly fall and tantalize the fish, wacky rig is the way to go.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's been weird, man. Over the past couple of years, it's kind of been the same thing for me. Obviously, we don't got the carp problem yet. There's been a few found in Chickamauga, which I'm not happy about. And there's actually several petitions going around now to close Watts Bar's lock so that they don't get into Watts Bar. But over the past few years, man, just the immense amount of pressure we've been having around here, I've had to learn how to slow down and finesse fish. Like where before I could spend all summer throwing an 8-inch worm or, fishing a chatterbait or doing something that I like to do, I had to learn to teach myself to slow down and fish that wacky rig. And then also kayak fishing, man. The more and more I got into kayak fishing, the more I had to learn how to finesse fish.
Yes.
Because it is just hard to power fish out of a kayak.
It is.
And it is. It's just straight up, it's hard to. And so when I learned that like it could be a really valuable tool for me to do well in kayak tournaments, and then it's a valuable tool when I'm on the boat that I can go behind people and catch fish on a busy Saturday or a busy Friday or whatever it was, I kind of really started to learn to love finesse fishing more and more. And the wacky rig has just been my tool for that. Because I'm a shallow water power fisherman. If I'm not stirring up dirt, I don't want to be there.
Right.
So the wacky rig has just been such a good tool for that because it does finesse. It's just such a hanging. It almost annoys them sometimes, I think. I think you pitch that thing in there and it just comes by their head and they're like, I just want to kill this. Like,
yeah.
I want it out of my face. I just want to kill it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you're in the kayak world. I've been noticing, what, other than, the finesse part, what are some major differences for you as far as fishing that you've had to maybe adjust or learn a little bit better in a kayak versus just out of the bass boat? My big deal was you really need to throw a braid more because when you set the hook in a kayak, your braid and your fluorocarbons are going to dominate. When you set the hook in a kayak, the boat moves and stuff. Where in a bass boat, you're planted. You can give them hell. Kayak, it's moving. So your line's not got more stretch, but you're moving around as well. So it's kind of hard to get a hook in them. And a buddy of mine, he's went to more light wire hooks and stuff, so you got a lot easier penetration. A lot of people think, it's a light wire, you can't hook them good. I've always been I would rather have something super sharp and can penetrate versus a tuna hook where I've got to literally use 2 hands and rip it,
Yeah, dude. So my biggest thing, obviously finessing, you know what I mean? Learning how to adjust to that. My biggest thing, though, is I have learned there are so many more fish in any given area than you could ever freaking imagine. Like, I would say, honestly, that you could have 15 people fish through an area, and you're not going to catch 95% of the fish that live there.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like, I've gone, and that's what kayak, because you can't turn on the big motor and go running down the lake in your kayak. You know what I mean? Like, with my pedal drive, I can cover a lot of water, 2-3 miles at a time, pretty easy. Obviously, it's going to take me some time to do that. I usually, the tournament that I won not too many weeks ago now, we'd made a 3-mile paddle that morning to get to the first spot, but it took us 35 minutes to get there. But once we were there, man, it was about milking that spot for all that was worth. And, I think too often in the bass boat, you catch a fish, you throw back in there, and if they don't bite, you just keep on going. You know what I mean? Whereas in that kayak, I had to go, okay, I'm here now. It's 35 minutes back to where I put in, which there's good fishing there, but I have to optimize the time I have here now.
Absolutely.
And do like, I made, whereas usually I'd make 5 casts at something, I made 10, and I filled up my limit in that one area.
Mm-hmm.
And so what it's taught me bass boat fishing is just to, hey, go back through an area 4, 5, 6 times. Optimize. I mean, if you caught a fish, obviously there's active fish in that area. So fish that area better than you fished it before. And I think that's really what separates good anglers from great anglers is learning, number one, how to identify those areas, but then number two, how to efficiently fish those areas, maybe in a shorter amount of time. And I think that's where I'm kind of working on now is how do I go, okay, I've found these good areas. Now, how do I fish it just a little bit quicker than I'm fishing it, but still optimize the fish that live there?
Yeah, that's and I think that's why it makes the kayak tournaments a little bit more area oriented. Like you have to find a place you can maximize your fishing time and be high percentage. It's not like in a bass boat tournament, well, we're going to go down there here, we're going to hit this hole, and if we don't catch them here, we're going to go there. If we don't catch them at XYZ spot, we got all this backup. You pretty much going to say, I've got one area and I'm going to have to fish it, and if they're not here, I might get one other choice. Even if they're trailer tournaments, because you've still got to paddle back to, and got to load the boat up and all that. It could take you an hour just to load the boat and get to moving. So, but you made an interesting point when you said there's more fish than we'll ever realize. I love to bow fish, and it will blow people's minds when you get 10,000 watts of light on an area at 10 o'clock at night, and you go down a gravel bank in the spring, and you go bass, 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 bass. Oh gosh, that was a giant. They don't realize what's in a 100-yard stretch. They make in 100 yards, you're what in the spring trolling mower over on 80 with a crankbait. You catch one. You don't realize that there's like 24 fish there.
Yeah, it's crazy, man, and that's really. And I tell you, kayak fishing is kind of, I guess, a lot like bow fishing, in the fact, obviously, you've got the lights and you're going to be able to see those fish, but I'm able to see fish that I would never see before in my kayak because they just don't react to the kayak how they react to a boat. I don't know if it's because there's no trolling motor, there's no ping of the graph, if it's just really kind of just a more natural approach. But like I've got hung up before and rolled up into an area and there's 5 4-pounders sitting there, and I'm like, whoa, I've never realized that there was that big of caliber of fish living right here. And the thing is, though, what's crazy about the kayak is you can roll up on them, and they just sit there and look at it like, wonder what that is. Yeah. And you back off and pitch in there and donk, and there goes one. You're like, what in the world is this? You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah, like, so when they have these kayak tournaments here on Kentucky Lake in the summer, and it's prime ledge fishing and all that, it's always wanting like a foot of water. Yeah. One, I think you can get to water that no bass boat, even aluminum boat, can't get to.
Yeah.
And you can put in and like a lot of guys fish the Duck River, which is like way down south Kentucky Lake, almost near Pickwick, but all kinds. There actually gets to be rapids and places you could only get like a jet boat, but you can find it on the map. You can find these backwater access points with a kayak, and it's legal because it is connected to Kentucky Lake. And they get back there in this skinny water and they find these big smallmouth, like 4 or 5 pounders that are just trapped back there. You know, they don't want to go way upriver and just crush them, you know. But I agree. Yeah. From little kayak fishing I've done, they don't bother fish at all. It's something about, I think it's just very natural. It's not like loud and noisy. It's just like gliding over them. They're just like, oh, hey, what's up? You know, no big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I love it. I mean, it's just such a... I would never get rid of my boat, and I'm at the point now that I would never get rid of my kayaks either because it's just 2 totally different things that I love both of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's pros and cons to both, absolutely.
Yeah, and I just love them both. You know what I mean? And so some days you want to get out there and cruise up and down the lake in your boat. Like today, it was awesome. I had a good time. Shot around the lake, fished a few quick holes of the time I had fun. But then there's other days, man, you get out there in that kayak, and it's just a good freaking time. So
I gotta give a shout out to some of the viewers that are joining here. What's up, Steve Hardy? Matt Birch, great friend of mine, has a little tackle shop there in Georgia. Here's a good question for you. Colonel Reb, he's down there in Mississippi, great guy. I've known him since the Bass Boat Central days. Kayak fishing, is swim bait fishing really that much different versus standard aluminum or glass boat? And the reason he asks is because of the leverage.
So yeah, it's a completely different experience. Number one, because is he talking like big glide bait fishing?
I think
is that what we're talking about?
Rev, he likes the big glide baits and like the big bull shads and stuff like that. Not like putting a bass trick on a 3/8 ounce head or something.
Yeah, so like when you throw the big glide bait, just the act of actually throwing the bait is going to move the kayak. The act of working the bait is going to move the kayak. Just everything about how big those baits actually are, it can be tough in a kayak to do it versus, say, a boat platform, whether it be aluminum or glass. And a lot of it has to do with, I'm sure if he has the experience, especially with like big glide baits like your depths and stuff like that, a lot of the times you're making a almost targeted cast in an area and you're mending your line and you're trying to get that perfect line. And it's so hard to work a line in a kayak because as soon as you turn that reel handle and that bait glides, it'll pull that kayak towards that bait. And so just working the bait's hard. I've hooked a few fish in the kayak with the big glide baits, and every single time it's always just a total disaster. And I think just a lot of it has to do with you have zero leverage on them.
Right.
And they have all the leverage in the world on you. Out of probably the dozen or so that I've hooked with the big glide bait in the kayak, I would say I've put 2 in the boat. It's tough. It's just straight up tough to do. But you have the added benefit of that more natural approach where I've been right up on top of them with the big glide bait and had them munch it. You know what I mean? Whereas I know if I was in my boat, they would have never even looked at that thing. So
we've got a super chat here. Sean La, $10 make you holla. Appreciate it. Randy Moss popping up. Straight bass, homie. His question. This is great. Good question. Thanks for bringing Bigfoot himself, A. Rudd. Question for Alex. I know you're with Old Town, but how does it compare to the SS-127, which is a bona fide?
Yes. So this is a question, and I always answer it the same way. I love my bona fide, awesome kayak, but the dramatic step up in performance, fishability, and just overall efficiency on the water from a paddle kayak to a pedal kayak is like the difference between driving a Honda Civic and a Lamborghini. I mean, it's just a massive performance jump. And so comparing an Old Town to, an Old Town PDL to your bona fide paddle driven kayak, and you got a paddle with a paddle, the bona fide, whereas you have a pedal drive or a motor in your Old Towns. But I'm going to compare them to the PDL because that's the jump. It's just not even the same world. You know what I mean? Like when I left that bona fide and got into that first PDL, like that was when kayak fishing, I started to enjoy it because like I could focus more on the fishing aspect of it and less on the I'm trying to fight this 12-foot hunk of plastic. You know what I mean?
Yes. Now, my first time in one, I was getting pissed. I was dog cussing. The damn paddle, it kept sliding around everywhere. I thought I was going to fall in the water. And I was like, and it's on YouTube, and I had to edit so much, F-bombs and stuff out. I'm like, man, I'm not doing that until I get one I can, pedal. This paddle is getting in the way. I like the bona fides, but I agree with what you're saying. It's like get on Twitter and the people that compare like NASCAR drivers to like dirt sprint cars. I'm like, yeah, they both go fast, but other than that, they're not similar at all.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a completely different world, man. I mean, it's really crazy. I mean, it's crazy just that performance jump. Now, I'll be brutally honest, and I'm going to actually make a video about this soon. The performance jump from a pedal drive to a motor-driven kayak is like upgrading in my mind, and this could be totally different for everybody else. And it's maybe my experience because I can't fish a lot of tournaments with motor-driven kayaks. I have to use my PDL. From a PDL to a motor-driven kayak is kind of like the upgrade from a Chevy Tahoe to a Cadillac. Like, yeah, it's a better vehicle, right? But you're really just paying more for bells and whistles than you are actual performance of yourself on the water. That's my personal opinion on that. I don't, that's obviously not based in any kind of like scientific experiment, but just for me, what I've found fishing, like I can fish just as effectively, and honestly, a little more effectively in my PDL than I can my motor-driven kayak.
Well, we got to fix the stream. Some people are saying it's lagging, but it's not lagging on my end, and I don't have any warnings on Skype or anything, so it may be a YouTube deal. I don't know what's going on, but everything seems good on our end.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird.
I can possibly get Alex out and back in. Let's see here. Oh, that was me. I'm gonna see if I can pull Alex back in to the stream. It says restart. No, I'm not restarting the stream. That's not going to happen. Not going to happen. If I restart the stream, that's not good. So I'll just try to pull him back up in here. Always something. Gosh dang it. People starting to roll up in here too.
We'll get it. We'll get it.
I got him back in here. Let's see if it's lagging again. Let me get him all jazzed up. Get him a little bit bigger up in here.
Up in here. Up in here.
My wife just kills me with the DMX all the time. That's like her favorite rapper ever. We're still live. That's okay. I'm not making fun of you. I hope my wife ain't watching. I'm not making fun of her very much. Cutting out. I've got some good internet, so it's not on my end. Alright, I've got Alex Bucks back in here, so everyone says it's lagging too. Picture is still frozen, locked up. Alright. I don't know what to do if it's frozen up, so getting a lot of refresh loops. Alright, let's not panic. Let's not panic, because I'm good at panicking.
I tell you what you need to do, man, is use StreamYard from now on. StreamYard's what I used, and I'll still use from now on. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm using OBS Streamlabs or Streamlabs OBS. I just started using that a couple weeks ago, and it's been good. Everyone says we have lost Alex. They must be behind. They must be behind because let me look on my phone here. I took you off the stream, and then I put you on the stream, so...
maybe it's just lagged behind a little bit. So now people are saying this... I don't know.
Alright. Let's see... Alright, see if you guys... If this video is from... Alright. Give me just a second here. Now see on my cell phone.
No?
Can't see Alex. Alex is a dark screen. Let's see. Why?
They can hear us, but they cannot see us.
We can hear you guys.
I can hear
fine.
You.
I don't understand why it's doing that. Alex pick is back up. All right, so if Alex is back up, then there we go. All right.
Rock and roll.
We good now?
Yeah. Get it? Can we see?
No panic. Never panic.
I'm good.
I do panic quite a bit. Anyway.
I'm cool as a cucumber.
Everything I'm on. All right, so. Darius King said that's all right. We'll just do Baitman Raw. I haven't done one in a while. I need to really bad. So if Alex don't come up here, we're just gonna roll. They said Alex is back. All right, thanks, Alex. I'm
here.
Alex / Lazarus Rudd is back from the dead.
Oh, that's funny.
Hell with the video. Continue talking. That's what I like. So I'm gonna lead into this. Let's talk a little bit about some baits, and then we'll talk about whatever. You kind of like the JDM stuff.
I do.
I got
I
some
do.
JDM stuff in the mail.
There you go. Let's see what we got. I would love to see what you're rolling with here,
I
man.
don't know everything about this, but this is a I got to put it down low for Alex. This is a Norris
Yeah.
spinner bait. It's kind of
Wow.
like a gray mouse color with some purple. I gotta have the purple, but
Yeah.
they they've kind of built the trailer hook onto the spinner bait. You see that? It's got these
Let's
little.
hold up just a little bit for me here.
It's got the little
Uh,
clips on it.
that's
I
cool.
haven't seen that on a U.S. spinnerbait. It's just 1 ounce. It's not a compact one. It's kind of like got the bunny ear head on it.
Yeah.
But I love how that trailer hooks are there. So I'll show this to the guys,
Huh.
the people on
I
YouTube.
tell you, dude, Norris is awesome. I'm a big fan of the Norris NF60 frog. Like
Dude,
probably the best frog to fish in the mats out there. I love Norris.
yeah, dude, the Norris Frog NF60 is legit. Like a buddy of mine, he's all over it.
Yeah. I have several dozen.
I've never even heard of this company. This is like it's called a Bruno Shad Tail. It's like the perfect skinny dipper / Kayak swim bait.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy. And this is
I tell you, man.
4.8 inches. Show the YouTube guys. I have a good friend.
Wow.
He lives in Chicago. His name is Rick, and Rick is the JDM man. And he said, "Man, I'm gonna send you a care package." And I don't know about everything he sent me, but this thing is cool. I mean, anyone can knock off Kayak or anyone can knock off a skinny dipper. These guys just said, you know what? We'll just build one that's like a pair. We'll put it together.
Yeah. I tell you, man, my thing is I want to go to Japan someday. I would love to make that trip happen. The problem is I'm going to have to take a suitcase just to put baits in because I'm going to hit up every tackle shop that I can find and literally fill an entire suitcase with JDM baits.
That would be my ultimate baitman trip, is to go to Japan, and I could do some live streaming from the Japan tackle shops, or just go in. So, let's see. All right, here's a good question for Big Red Bass. Is Alex, you mentioned heading throwing a Carolina rig. What do you dislike about it?
Everything.
Yeah, me too.
Everything about a Carolina rig. Just the speed of it, man. Like it's just such a it's literally a drag, right? Like literally and metaphorically, it's just a drag to throw a Carolina rig. Obviously, you catch giants on it, right? I mean, it was earlier this year. I was on one of the Highland reservoirs around here, and went and tried cranking. I went and tried throwing the small swim bait, spinner bait, and I knew what I needed to go do, and I went and got on a point with a Carolina rig and caught several nice smallmouth. You know what I mean? So obviously I know the power of it, and also in the grass. Gunnersville. I don't care what anybody says. You go to Lake Gunnersville, there's a lot of people want to punch. I want to throw the frog in October, but one of the best ways to get a giant bite is to drag around that Carolina rig. I just don't like it. I mean, it's just something that I'd rather be doing anything else than having to drag that thing around. You know what I mean? It's boring.
I've never
I'm like a squirrel on
I
track.
never woke up and gone fishing and said, you know what? I can't wait to throw today is a freaking Carolina rig.
Yeah, neither have I.
That's like the last resort.
Oh yeah, I got a buddy though who's like that. He's like, dude. Man, it's Carolina rig season. I'm like, kiss my ass. Like, dude, I don't even want to be on the boat with you. No, thank you.
I mean, the only time I'll throw it over other stuff is like my fishing partner. He has no problem whipping it out, and the Carolina rig that is. But he fishes it different. Like he'll fish it, and when he's dragging, he's like shaking his rod. And I asked him years ago, so what are you doing? He said, I'm bouncing the weight up and down. When I feel a hard spot, I bounce the weight up and down. And dude, he catches them. And he's not, a lot of times he's just doing this, and I look over there and he's like, get the net. I'm like, I don't even set the hook on him. But when it's tough and I don't even want to be out there, that's usually when he kicks my tail on that right there. But I'll throw it. I get Carolina rig stuff all the time because I have it tied on. because I know if it gets, pardon my French, shitty, that's the way to catch it. It's just, I don't wake up and get excited about moving a Carolina rig. And the other one for me is drop shot. Dude, drop shot is really a good way to catch numbers of fish and good ones. Yeah. Even on the Tennessee River. Dude, that's a staple, but I don't like doing it. The only time I like it is if I can see them. Like we're ledge fishing the last couple of years, and you're not getting bit on a spoon, swim bait, dragging a jig, all that, and you see them and you can drop on them and catch them. Like what Ben does up north for smallmouth and those guys, it's boring to watch on TV, but it's fun as heck to do in person.
Oh yeah. I'm not. Literally, the only fish I've ever caught on a drop shot have been up north. Like I hate throwing that thing. Like it's just not. I'm not super effective with it, right? Like I've got other baits in my box that I can pick up and I feel like I'm more effective with, and so that's what I want to do. I don't want to drag a drop shot or a Carolina rig. I don't really want to drag anything. I want to go fish a crankbait and a Swimbait and power fish. That's what I want to do.
Yes. Let's see what this guy sent me a load of stuff. Like, he's a great guy. I met him in ICAST, and he's the JDM guy. Here you go. He sent me a frog.
Ooh.
And obviously, this is a little. I think this is an amakatsu.
Yes. It's the Buddha frog.
The Buddha frog, dude. It's kind of like that Kara, real small. What I like about this already is it's like all hook.
Yeah. Yep.
Make sure you get the streamers to see that.
That Buddha frog walks in a very strange way. What it does is it darts almost under the water.
Really?
And yes, and so when you're working that thing, you almost can't keep the head up. And so like when you walk it, it kind of wants to dive down. And dude, I'm telling you, it's a weird deal, but like you just kind of like you can't like constantly walk it. You can't tack 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 tack. What you got to kind of do is you kind of go like tack tack tack, and it'll dive, and then kind of tack tack tack, and just work it like that. Really? And dude, they'll smash it when it's under the water. Yeah,
dude, that's awesome. Well, my buddy Rick, he's obviously smashing. Dude, I don't know if the YouTube people can see this thing. White and bright lights don't go together. Dude, it's got teeth marks. It's no wonder he sent it to me. It's like chewed up. It's probably fixing it.
I love it.
Fixing to go underwater and die. He did actually. He sent me some terminal tackle. He sent me some decoy. It's called the flashing sound. Kachi beads. There we go. There's just some Carolina rig stuff. But I like how they made the package with way different sizes in there. So it's not just one size of bead. Which I'll give guys a pro tip. If you'll go to the Walmart to the craft section, you can get all the glass beads you want for like $5. You'll never have to buy them again.
Amen to that, brother.
So that's why.
Hey, and find a barrel swivel company. So like, there's companies who make barrel swivels for crap other than what we use barrel swivels for. You can just go in there and order like I don't, we order them by like number 1, number 2, number 3. But all you gotta do is like measure like what a number 4 barrel swivel looks like, and go. You can buy 1,000 of them for like $10.50 shipped to your front door.
Yeah, I don't want to call any companies out, but man, y'all making some money on the swivel market. And the split rings too. Like I like the owner split rings, but man, they're like $5-6 for a pack of 6.
Yeah,
there's no way.
It's ridiculous.
I just know from working in a factory, what they tell me. We have little pieces that go on windows that are similar split rings. They're like 3 cents a piece, and I'm like, what? Mm-hmm. You can't tell me that those Spros really cost $1.50 a piece. But
I tell you another thing that just makes me mad is like wacky rig O-rings.
Oh God,
it's ridiculous. So my buddy's dad works for an O-ring company, and he like bought some O-ring. He bought like a pack of 20, and it was like $5.99, whatever. His dad was like, "What size are those?" He's like, "I don't know." He picks it up. He's like, "Oh, that's like a 76-42 or whatever." And he's like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "Yeah, I'll bring you some home." He's got like 500,000 of them now, and like it was just in a big old bag. You know what I mean? Like He comes home and dude, do you want some Wacky Rig O-rings? I was like, you don't have to give me. And he's like, no, dude, you don't understand. Like, I can give them to you by the truckload. Like, here's a whole bag full of them. And so I have a giant bag of O-rings now.
I don't know if you deer hunt, but you know the Rage expandable broadheads. They have an
Yes.
O-ring that keeps it
Yes.
from. Well, back in the day, you know, I sold bow equipment and stuff. They sell those O-rings separate, and they're like $6 a pack for like 4. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you know, you can go over there to the fishing section, you know, and buy those wacky rigs for, or the rings for the bass guys using. Like, oh no, they won't fit. And I'm like, guys, it's an O-ring, it's gonna fit.
Yeah. Yeah. O-rings and O-ring is an O-ring.
Yeah,
Like, they're all the same.
yeah. But yeah, there's a bunch of stuff like that in the fishing industry. And that's not bad, but you know what? We buy stuff like the helicopter lure, the flying lure, the banjo minnow.
The banjo
These
man.
people are probably like, they're buying something called the banjo minnow. They're gonna spend $6 for a pack of O-rings.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, back in the day, if it was on made for TV, my dad he'd order it, and I'd want it too
I
because
love it.
man, you would see like the flying lure in the hog trough tank, and you'd be like, dude,
Yeah.
did you see that 5-pounder eat that thing? Gotta have
Yeah.
that. Gotta have it.
That's funny.
It is.
That is funny stuff.
It's the guy in the chat says he orders O-rings off Amazon 1,000 for like $5.
There you go, man. There's a cheap way to do everything. Like, I try to preach that. Like, there's certain things you just got to spend the money on, like jackhammers. You can't not. I mean, they're just what they are, and it's just what they are. Now, there's some awesome JDM bladed jigs out there that are a lot better than
Oh,
jackhammers
dude, I
that
got
I'm
a
not going to
couple
talk
right here.
about
I'm
yet.
fixing to show you.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, sauce stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like other stuff, man, like you can get it. Like I order all my treble hooks in bulk.
Yeah.
Like I order 500 packs because I go through them a lot. I mean, every crankbait I get, I put new treble hooks on it. And so you just got to you got to deal shop sometimes.
Right. I think the jackhammer. This is my hot take, and I love the Thunder Cricket from Striking. I think if you're not going to throw a jackhammer, Thunder Cricket is definitely number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Jackhammer's a jackhammer, and I get into it with all these people on Facebook because, man, you need to be trying Bobby Bill's homemade garage, chatterbait, and I see split rings connected to, swivels and all that to a blade, and I'm like, no, dude, all you need is a jackhammer.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought,
buy one $15 jackhammer and you're set.
yeah. Now, if you don't want to spend the money, the Striking Thunder Cricket's like $4 or $5 cheaper, and it's a great alternative. But I feel you get more. The best way is that the Thunder Cricket goes faster. It doesn't thump as hard. It's got a different vibration, but it has
So
great place for it.
So what I've found, and I've talked about this quite a bit, the jackhammer excels around grass, whereas the Thunder Cricket excels around hard bottom.
Yes.
And they're both interchangeable. I've caught fish on both interchangeably, but what I've found is like there's something about that tighter vibration, that faster, almost machine gun sound that the Thunder Cricket has, that when I'm fishing around hard bottom, I get more bites. Right. Whereas when I'm fishing that jackhammer, it's a more dramatic thump. Like it's like a jackhammer. Just you got a machine gun, it's brrr, whereas a jackhammer, ta 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 ta. That sound does better in the grass. And so that's what I've found. If I'm fishing hard bottom or if I'm fishing hard bottom mixed with grass, I go Thunder Cricket. But just like grass with soft bottom, the jackhammer for me is the way to go.
Yeah, Chris Adams in chat, he says he wished the jackhammer had the Thunder Cricket hook. Yes. I do like the owner hook better.
Yeah, it gets them.
I've caught a lot of fish on a jackhammer. I don't think it's overrated. I think it's where it should be as far as bladed jigs. I have lost some fish on it, and I don't know if it's a hook deal or what, but that Thunder Cricket hook is nasty. That's the hook I flip with most of the time. The owner.
Yeah, that owner hook. That jungle is nasty, dude. I mean, it's a nasty. I will say, I found a few JDM bladed jigs that outperform the jackhammer. And I think it only because they've never seen anything quite like some of the stuff that I've found. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like It's a completely different sound profile. It's something completely different, and I think those fish. It's just hitting them in a way that they've never been hit before, and that makes them want to eat it. So
Yeah, I'm gonna pull these out here in a second. This one is like an amazing micro bladed jig. Oh, let's answer a few questions real quick. Brian Kolzak, what are your top flat sided cranks for fall? I'll let you go with that, and then I'll give you my three because I got to think about it.
so my number one for availability, fishability, and just being able to get into that kind of flat side realm without spending a ton of money is going to be KVD flat side. Such an overlooked bait.
Very.
Like, it was a bait that hit the market, never had a bunch of attention
Nope,
brought to
not
it.
a lot of marketing.
Very few colors. Yeah, not a lot of market time, not a lot of air time. Very few colors in it for a long time because nobody paid attention to it. And I got that thing like as soon as it came out because I wanted to try it, and like nobody ever used it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I love that one just because of fishability, availability. I'm loving the Fritz side. Again, fishability, availability. Amazing, amazing little bait for what it is. And then probably number 3 for me, it's going to be some kind of custom, kind of like handmade.
Right.
Something when it gets real, real tough. When I need that bite, I'm going to whip out something, little peaty, something like
Woo!
that.
Old Sonny McFarlane,
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah. Just whip out something just real crazy on them and go to town.
That's one Balsa bait. I do not have a Sonny McFarlane. I've got some of the Craig Powers CP1s and stuff. Craig and Sonny were real tight.
Yeah.
What an absolute hammer was Craig Powers, too.
Yeah.
If I had to go 3, I would be very similar. I would say the KVD 1.5 if I'm going, like you say, availability, be able to find it everywhere. It's a nasty sleeper bait. Color I'm throwing,
It is,
I'm going to let it out of the bag. Sexy green shad. That's the one you need.
Dude, is it not the freaking sauce, dude?
It is.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
And so when I worked at a store called the Cabin Bait and Tackle years ago, under the original owner, his name was Ronnie, great guy. He watches some of these streams. He had Bandit make a color called Cabin Special, discontinued now, and it was that same color. Well, it sold so well. This wholesale company, Pittman Creek Wholesale, says we'd like to put this in the Strike King baits.
Yeah.
Freaking sold, and now you can still get. It's still a dealer exclusive, and it still works. But anywhere that buys from Pittman Creek Wholesale can usually get that color. But man, Sexy Green Shad and a 6XD on Pickwick, they eat it. I've sent more of them out there. Guys swear by it. It works good here. But that color, I don't know what about it. I think it's the olive back. It's not. It's very natural in the water. So my number 2 would be a Bomber Flat A.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah. Old Bomber. That's an oldie but a goodie
the
right
problem
there.
about a Bomber Flat A is the new colors suck. And I worked for
Yeah.
Pradco, and anytime it seemed like they had something cool that worked, everybody liked, they discontinued it. Like, I don't know. The old Bill Dance colors, but you can still get just a Tennessee shad, and they got just a clearish one. My Academy has them on sale for $2.99. I thought about buying a dozen and just sending them someone to paint. Like, make these great again, please.
Make Bomber Flat A's great again.
Yeah. And then I'd probably have to go with that 6 cents Crush 75 or Flat 75. Again, for one, you can find it about anywhere. They got some really good shad patterns that a lot of your flat sides are a chartreuse or a craw pattern that I've seen. But again, you can get it anywhere. Probably not on a 6 cents website right now. They're sold out of everything, but you can go to Academies in your local shop and find that Flat 75. It runs really good. And it's got good hooks on it. So that would be my 3.
Yeah, I like dude. 6 Cents making some really good stuff, man. Like I'm beyond impressed just with color selection. The Cloud Series crankbaits are amazing.
Yeah, they're good.
I love them. I mean, they're very, very good. I like everything that they got going on right now. So
yeah, I mean, I could say I'm a little bit of a homer, but I like to call it like that. So there's some stuff of theirs I don't throw much. I don't like. Or I won't say I don't like. I don't throw a lot of the smaller finessier crankbaits. I've always been a big fan of like the Lucky Craft finesse crankbaits, which a lot of 6 cents is very similar. I can be honest about that, but some of the soft plastics I haven't thrown a whole lot because I just haven't been fishing. But that stroker crawl is really good. Mostly I like they got unique stuff, man. I like the new big worms they just released. I've looked at some of the stuff and been like, I don't know about that. And then I fish it and be like, oh, they like that. But let's see if we can find another good. That was a great question on the flat sides. I like stuff like that. Darius King, he's a good friend of mine. He says the Picasso bladed jig is better than jackhammer in his opinion. Now Darius fishes a lot here and he catches a lot of smallmouth. So if he's telling me it's that good, obviously it's probably going. Have you fished the Picasso bladed jig?
I've not. I was actually going to look at that real quick and just get a look at it.
They've got Picasso one that's like a tungsten, and it's got almost a football head. And I have thrown that one. I didn't throw it much. I just played around with it, and I was like, "Whoa, this is pretty good, pretty good."
That's an interesting connection point on that.
They got their own connection deal too.
Yeah, that's interesting. I have to pick some of those up and throw them. I've never thrown. That was one that missed my radar completely. Like I knew Picasso come out with some new spinner baits. They had the whole new line of Aaron Martin stuff, but I didn't know they had the shock blade. That's a lot of freaking weird and cool colors too.
Yeah,
purple phantom completely. It's an all purple.
Yeah, like if I was gonna go night fishing, that's the one I'd throw.
Yeah. There's just some wild color combinations. I have to pick some of these up.
Yeah. Shady Banks in chat. He wants to know deep flat 8 or the regular. I like the deep. I don't even mess with the one that runs 2 foot or 3. I like the deep one. All right, here I'm going to show some JDM baits. I don't know who makes this. This is a micro bladed jig. I'm going to show Alex first.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I don't know if you can see it on your webcam, Alex. The connection, it's different.
That's strange.
It's like a little S hook.
So what would you have to throw that almost like a spinning rod?
I think it weighs a 1/4 ounce. I don't know. I don't have my weed scale here to weigh it. Just kidding, guys. Just kidding, guys. I don't do drugs or anything. That was just a joke. So I need to get one of those scales though that you like measure broadheads and stuff, like in archery, a grain scale.
Yeah.
I want to get into some of these baits. I think some of these manufacturers lie how much the stuff weighs, but on the webcam here, look at this, YouTube guys. This is a little bitty micro bladed jig. It's got a really sharp hook, by the way. But I guess you could put like a Kayak 2.8 on the back. I bet they would slay this thing in a pond. Like if you threw this in a pond, you're going to catch everything in there.
Yeah, that's interesting. That is very interesting. I like that.
Let's see. Wind with an 89-degree days in. Realistic fishing. He's in here keeping it realistic. He is hot as hell, and he don't like it.
Yeah, I don't either, dude. I'm tired of it. 100% humidity and 89 degrees is just. I'm tired. I'm tired of it. I'm ready for some cool weather.
That's the only good thing about football season being pushed back a little bit. If you're a player, it's not going to be hotter than hell, but. Unfortunately, our football team, the Vols, they haven't got to even practice that much. Like, half our team's been quarantined, and
We'll get there. It's going to be fine. I'm not worried about it. They're super athletes. Let them play football.
Yeah. Tackle Craft says, Rudd, send me that damn weird bandit and let me color match it.
Okay. Dude, hit me up. I'm dead serious. I will go buy 15 bandits. I'll send you the bandit and let you color match it. Like just shoot me a DM or an email or whatever you need to do. Let's make it happen.
TK Stanley's the man. He's a great guy. Great guy. And he can paint like nobody's business. Got 177 people in here. I think my West Coast people are starting to wake up. So I usually stream at 8 or 9, so this was like really early. As long as Miss Bethany doesn't get mad, I'm going to have to go get a phone charger or a laptop charger in a minute. We'll keep going. I think we're just like on the tip of the iceberg at the moment. I'm going to go get my charger. So, guys, y'all ask Alex questions if he can read the chat. If not, I'm going to find a question for him. So, all right, Alex, thoughts on the new Stealth jackhammer? And I got one if you want to look at it. Be right back.
Yeah. So, yeah, stealth jackhammer. I think it's really an interesting approach to the bladed jig. I've not got any yet. I'm still waiting for like my local tackle shop. I like to support my local tackle shop as much as I can. So, waiting for them to get some in stock so I can pick a few up and just play around with them. I think it's going to be one of those deals, especially when the fish get really pressured, that it's going to be an awesome tool. And I also think it's going to be a cool tool. What I'm going to play around with is trimming the skirt different ways to see if I can get a more finessey profile using different kinds of trailers and stuff like that. So when those fish start getting more keyed in on those glass minnows and that smaller bait fish, kind of playing with some lighter stealth blades and just messing around with it. You know what I mean? Just seeing what I can get done with it. I can't see the chat, so you guys keep on asking questions. I'm gonna go up here and let me see. So I think it was Darius was talking about that one is tungsten. So I actually found some tungsten jackhammers one time, and they are a completely different ball game than the normal jackhammer as well. I think there's just so much crap. I mean, it's like a rabbit hole, right? You could go down this rabbit hole for days, months, years. I mean, I've gone down it for years just looking for those things that nobody else has just to mess around with them. So, what's your favorite smaller scale crankbait for bites? For me, it's probably going to be the Bandit 200. I mean, it's like the one bait that I caught my first fish on the Bandit, 200. I'll probably catch my last fish on the Bandit 200. It's just the most consistent, best small body crankbait for me out of them all. And it's a great bait because you can fish it shallow, but then you can still get it in that 6 to 8 foot range, so you're able to cover a lot of water. So
the first smallmouth I ever caught was on a Bandit 200. The color was mistake. The half red and black and chartreuse and black. I was with Mark Menendez. I was probably Baitman Junior's age, around 7 or 8. And I remember when I caught that thing, it jumped, and Mark was like, "Oh, look what you got." It was about 3.5 pounds, and back then that's a good one. He's like, "Dude." And so I would throw a mistake Bandit all the time with my dad, just because of that little smallmouth. But once I got older, I got into root beer chartreuse. Now guys are collecting Bandits like they're wiggleworts.
Mm-hmm. Dude, it's because a lot of those colors, that one crazy color that I got, they don't make them anymore. I mean, I've got stuff in my box that they don't make and they can't make because I know the one color that I'm trying to get repainted, and whenever I can, Tacklecraft can get that repainted for me, we do that. It was a color that was originally made by Wigglewort, and Wigglewort sued Pradco for making the color, and so they had to quit making the color, and they quit making it in the it was like the late 90s, almost rolling over into the 2000s, and it was just gone. Mm-hmm. But it was like residual on store shelves for a long time.
Right.
And so it wasn't until they were gone in the mid 2000s that you realized that they were gone forever. You know what I mean? And it was like, oh crap, I've messed up. You know what I mean? And so it's crazy, dude. And that's been kind of the deal with a lot of those is, Pradco got sued by X company for hacking off one of their colors or whatever. And then the residual sale over the years, people didn't think that they weren't making them anymore until they realized they weren't making them anymore.
Right. And unfortunately, and this happens all the time, is stuff that gets discontinued, but the tackle shops, they've ordered so much of it, or even the wholesalers still got them. Dude, I'm not going to lie, some of these wholesalers, they know less about what's in stock and discontinued from the manufacturer than anybody, because we got cases of it up here we can't sell. Well, then they put them on dirt cheap sale, and it's just like cold calling. They call these shops, hey, we've got Bandits on sale this week for $1.50. If you'll buy 200, and they're like, oh yeah, and then all of a sudden it gets back on a shelf and it just sits there, and it could be discontinued for years. So
it's crazy, dude.
Here's a good question, Joe Reynolds. Thoughts on Strike King crank for weeds? He's talking about the new Strike,
the hybrid,
the Strike Pro bait that's now Strike King.
Yeah. So Strike Pro, right? That was the Big Bubba and the Little Bubba. That was where that came from. And literally, Strike King, what they did was they bought the exact mold.
They basically bought
from
the
Strike
company.
Pro. Yeah, they bought the company, bought the mold, and now they're making the bait. And I think over the next few years, we're going to see more and more of those baits from Strike Pro hitting the market through Strike King.
They made a really good deep crank too.
Yes, they did, and Todd Castledine really was the proponent behind all that, right? He was like the guy that made that whole thing happen. And Castledine, man, he has had a ton of success, won a lot of money on a lot of this stuff that you can't find anywhere because Strike Pro made it, and they had a few things imported and just didn't ever really tell anybody about it. You know what I mean?
It wasn't like their stuff was junk. It was just, again, some of these companies, especially overseas, I said OSP comes to mind. It's not marketed at all, so you got to know about it. Or it's not like no one knows Strike Pro is. If you see it, you're like, what is that? It's good stuff. It just wasn't marketed really heavy.
Yeah. So with Strike Pro, they were like Italian or what was Italian or something? They weren't Japanese.
No, they're Swedish maybe.
Okay.
I need to look into it.
I knew it
was overseas company, but it wasn't like just made in China, or it might have been made in China, but it wasn't like the company was just these. You dial them up on Alibaba and they spit it out to you. It was pretty unique stuff.
Yeah, and so I'm really excited about the Hybrid Hunter. It's going to be. I got to figure out how to use it. Like, I have one of the 6th Sense L bills, and I just never really figured out how to use it. You know what I mean? Like,
same here, because
I got to figure it out.
Same here. I think the 6th Sense one sounds great, runs great. I ain't got no grass, so everything up to the L bill is the deal around grass. Now, been around Menendez. He's been throwing the Hybrid Hunter, and he said, "Dude, it's an awesome topwater bait." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, I figured out a way to make it wake and make it dart back and forth, and they eat it. And I'm like, all right, I've got to see it. Prove it to me.
Yeah.
Which,
interesting.
I always like it when we're filming. And of course, I'm trying to get good angles, and and he'll be like, Kevin, what should we do? And I'm like, Bud, you led the Bassmaster Classic. You've qualified for who knows how many. I'm just a guy that knows about baits. Don't ask me what to do. You just go do your thing.
Just go fishing.
Just go fishing.
Just hang out. Just go fishing.
I can't wait to start being able to put some of that stuff up on his YouTube or whatnot. And I've got to keep it a little secret because it's going on local TV first. But here's a good question. Jimmy Conkright, he's from Kentucky, great guy. What happened in Norman? It seems like in the 90s they were good. Now they're straight junk. Well, Norman was made in the United States for a while. And now they're China baits.
Yeah, Norman got bought out. Didn't they get bought out by Pradco?
Yes.
So, I'll be honest. Bandits now aren't like bandits like they used to be.
Junk.
They're junk. Like, I mean, anything from Pradco, I just don't really like it. Like, sorry. I don't like you.
It hurt my feelings. They fired me, so we can talk bad about them all we want. I love doing TV show stuff, but, man, if we really want to light the stream on fire, get me talking about the behind the scenes of how much money a company can spend on terrible TV shows.
It's a lot, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I forgot how much we. Yeah. I don't want to say the shows were terrible, but dude, spent damn near $1 million on a deer hunting show. It just should never happen.
No, yeah, I feel like you could probably make that a lot cheaper than that much money.
Yeah, one of these days I'll spill the beans. I know that they're not gonna get mad at me, obviously, but. I love doing classic patterns and the fishing shows and stuff, but I got burned out on hunting shows. But all right, whoa, Shady Banks just found out Strike King dropped the Magnum Caffeine Shad. Yeah, they dropped that about 5 years ago.
No, the Magnum, like a 7-inch.
Yeah, they've had it out for a few years.
Oh, have they? I thought they'd come out with a bigger one than the big one.
Yeah, I've got some 7-inch somewhere. I've had them for a few years.
You know what Strike King does a lot, and I actually asked about it because I was like, wait, didn't this come out like 4 years ago? And they're like, yeah, we took it off the shelves and brought it back out. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's cool.
Yeah, they did that with the Wake Shad. The Strike King Wake Shad is the only bait I know that's been discontinued twice by the same manufacturer. So they brought it out. And it had a little cult following, and then they discontinued it. And then the price, and people didn't realize it. And then all of a sudden, my buddy Crispin that works at Striking, great guy, him and Mark Copley, two of the best people I know. But Crispin has this idea. I want to bring back the wake shad. The swim bait thing's getting big. There's an underground following. He's right. There were people that, especially in Texas, Oklahoma guys that really want that wake shad. So it comes back out. They try to do an aggressive campaign with like retailers. You've seen it from wholesale distributors and stuff like that. I bought a bunch of them. And then through internet sales, guys were just that knew they would buy a dozen at a time. And then they'd get discontinued. And literally, it was about a 1.5-year run, got discontinued. And then James Watson there on MLF smokes them on the wake shad. And everybody's like, oh, I got to get them. They go for $30, $40 a pop now.
That's crazy, dude.
And I've asked my guys at Strike King, y'all bringing it back? No, they said it's been dead twice. We're not reviving it one more time.
See, I've got some hold away just because they're wicked, dude. I mean, they catch fish. They catch big ones too. I mean, one of the best striper baits ever made. You want to catch a big striper? Tie one of the dang things.
Yeah, it does have some potato chip like casting. It's not very accurate, which is fine. I don't really throw that to pinpoint stumps. I'm just out casting a flat, but it's really good. The new 6-inch speed wake's about the closest thing you'll ever get to the original Strike King, which it was designed by a guy named Alan that owns ABT Lures. And I don't think he works anything with Strike King, but let's get some more questions. We got good questions tonight. Randy Brittenham, he wants to know, Bill Lewis crankbaits any good? I do like the MR6. It's a pretty good little bait. You throwing that one?
That's the one crankbait I've not had a ton of experience with yet. Ben loves it. Ben says it's really good. I've not thrown it a ton yet.
I haven't caught a lot of fish on it, but I haven't thrown it as much as I would a DT6, but just from the action, I like it. I've caught 3 or 4 good ones. I like it better fishing riprap because I don't have to worry about the bill busting like I do at DT6. It's the only bad thing about Rapala baits.
Yes, I've busted a lot of bills off everything from the DT20 all the way to the DT. Like, you bust them off. This is something. It's kind of the downside of fishing a balsa bait. It's going to happen.
Yep.
That's why I'm so nervous to throw. Like I said, some of those ones that I have. It hurt my soul to break the bill off of one.
Yeah. Let's see. Hybrid Hustler Jig. That's your boys, Beast Coast, man. They make good stuff. Wants to know, is that the real deal?
Oh, dude. Oh, yeah. Like, I made several videos on it. In the first video that I made on, a lot of people were like, nice ad. I'm like, it's not an ad. It freaking catches fish. Like, I went to the toughest lake around me and one of the toughest times of year, and I caught fish on it. You know what I mean? Like, it is the real deal. And in the marabou in there, man, it does give it just a little something different. You know what I mean? It's just a little. I think it's enough that it'll get a few more bites than, say, another kind of finesse jig will. What I really like about it, 3/8 ounce version, when you pair it up with, like I actually use a full size rage crawl, and I just bite just the tip off of it and run that thing up on there. I can flip it.
Yep.
And so, like, I'll flip it on some, like, 15-pound fluorocarbon. Obviously, I'm not flipping in, like, super, super heavy cover. But that's what I flip, man. And this spring, that Hybrid Hustler was the absolute deal for me. It's just a great jig.
I love their flipping jig. The G-Spro, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I like their tungsten football jigs as well.
Yes. Yeah, dude. The double wide weed guard, awesome, especially when you're fishing braid. You can flip that thing. You could dang near punch with it if you wanted to. I mean, you're not going to get anything hung up on it. My favorite thing in the entire lineup, though, is the Gorilla Swim jig.
I know.
The Gorilla Swim.
That purple one, you've been smashing them on.
Dude, it's ridiculous. Clear water, dirty water, muddy water, somewhere in between water, cold, warm. I don't care what it is. There's something about that jig color and that trailer combination, that Space Monkey, in that color, man. They just straight up smash it. I freaking love it. It's just great.
All right, you just said something leads me into this question. This guy says, Hunter Nixon, most overrated, underrated lure on the market in y'all's opinion. I'll go underrated is the Strike King Space Monkey. Dude, that thing freaking slays. If you knew how many bass I've seen caught with that thing and caught myself, everyone's got, oh, you gotta have a brush hog, you gotta have a beaver or this or that. Dude, town of Space Monkey, you will catch a ton of fish
Yeah.
with it.
Space Monkey's sauce, bro. Total
Yeah.
sauce.
Yeah,
Jordan Lee won the classic.
and
with
most
it.
people are gonna go
I
look
mean-
at the Zoom wall and grab a brush hog every time.
Yeah. Try out the Space Monkey. Like I tell people all the time, like I'm trying to tell everybody, like try out the Space Monkey. If you'll just try it, I promise you're gonna like it.
Yeah. Overrated. This is the one I'm gonna be honest. Wigglewort. I think you can get more done for the price with a Spro rock crawler than you can a Wigglewort. I've even had pros tell me, hey, if you really want to piss some people off on Facebook, just tell them to get a rock crawler instead of paying for a old Wigglewort. They work just as good.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to. So I'll start with most overrated. I'm gonna have to totally agree. The Wigglewort, like, dude, the rock crawler is the sauciest sauce that's ever been sauced. Okay, like,
yeah,
it is just
perfect.
It's
for
perfect.
that little
it's
niche of a crankbait. It's perfect.
It is. I mean, it casts like a rocket. It dives deeper than any other bait in that category. It's just awesome. Most underrated bait. Oh man, that's a toughie. You've already said Space Monkey. Space Monkey is really, really good. I'm gonna have to go.
I'm kicking off the stream if you say a Guggen bait, by the way.
Oh God! Don't even play with me. I don't even entertain that idea.
We could put all that in the overrated though. All the Guggen stuff is in the overrated category.
Right. Most underrated. Man, that's a tough one. Most underrated.
Space Monkey's pretty tough to beat, just to be honest with you.
It is. Yeah, Space Monkey is really, really good. You want to know one? A lot of people don't pay attention to it, which fascinates me. And this is going to be one that's kind of like it's very specific to the time of year you're fishing. With that dadgum pad perch, I wouldn't say it's the most underrated, but that pad perch is something different, and people don't pay attention to it.
I don't. And I had like one of the first popping perches. Like they gave me one for a manufacturer could get it, or a retailer.
Yeah.
And it walks really, really good, and I like to tell. I could see where that could be a very underrated bait. I know that Tyler's Real Fishing smashes them on the pad perch.
Yeah, what's cool about the pad perch, and what I've learned about it, is, they say don't trim the legs, but I trim the legs. What I do is the outside 3 legs, I trim them off, trim them as close as I can get them to the body. But that thing walks like a spook more than it does a frog.
Yeah.
And I've found for open water frog fishing, it's just a really, just a damn good bait. You know what I mean? Just really good.
Yeah. I think sometimes people see it. I was talking to my buddy at Strike King about this, and I'm going to be a little homerish, but I think people hear the word Strike King sometimes, and they're like, oh, it's mass produced. It's really not that good. And I'm like,
yeah.
Because on my Instagram, on my bladed jig post, someone said, well, anything's got to be better than the quality of Strike King or something like that. And I'm like, man, I've really never had any issues. And that was my honest answer. I mean, it doesn't matter what brand you buy crankbaits. You're going to get a few it cracks the bill or whatnot, or one doesn't swim right. But I feel like people kind of like, hey, I'm not going to buy Strike King because it's mass produced. And I'm like, dude, the majority of their stuff slays. Like, they're pros. I've been in a lot of them's boat, and I would say 75% or more of their tackle is Strike King. They're not BSing anybody.
Oh yeah, I trust. Yeah, there's 1,000% transparency on my videos. I can't hide anything. Like, you see what I throw. Like,
yeah,
it's good. I trust Strike King to put fish into the boat for me. You know what I mean? Now, it's not to say I don't have other stuff, but it's awesome.
And there's no disrespect to any other company. Like, I'm affiliated with 6 Cents. I'm very confident in everything they make, but there's some stuff that other manufacturers make that I like better, or it's just a product they don't make. They don't make a bladed jig, so, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that's what works good with us, is because they don't want me to be a hoe. They're just like, hey, you can promote us, use our baits, if you don't like it, don't talk about it. And that's kind of how I am. I'm not going to promote something for anybody that I don't believe in and don't use. Now I might talk about it and say, hey, let's say here's a JDM bait right here. I can tell you all about this bait. This is an Amakatsu. This thing is sexy too.
That looks really good. That's what I was just thinking. It's a really good looking jerk bait.
It does look really good, and you might want to pick one of these up. But I'm not going to get on here and say, yo guys, this is the best. This is a game changer. This is the best jerk bait ever. But I will tell you, it might be because, man, it looks really good.
That is sexy.
This is an Amakatsu. It says Dardo 115.
Huh. Amakatsu makes some good stuff.
I think they might make this bladed jig. I've been wanting to bring it out all night. And we'll get back to the viewer questions. What is this? Do you know what this bladed jig is? Watch this bill.
What? So, I don't know the name, but I've been told about it.
Yeah, my buddy Rick sent this, and I need to get the information from him. It's a plastic blade. Look at this, guys, on YouTube. Yep. You can bend this blade. It's definitely going to be silent coming through the water. I gotta get that for Alex. It's got this little. Can you see that metal piece on the back of the blade?
Yeah, that's weird. I wonder how that runs. Like, that's really weird.
Dude, it's got a good hook because it just caught me. All right, guys, YouTube land, name this bladed jig. This is JDM. I'm going to guess, knowing my buddy Rick, he's a big Amakatsu guy. That's probably who that is. But that right there, now that's stuff you don't see in the U.S.
Yeah,
no. You can go behind a guy that's throwing a jackhammer or a thunder cricket or whatever else, and you might pick up 2 or 3 bites from big ones that doesn't see everything.
And then, I can see the little Japanese guy throwing that thing on like a 7-foot medium, $6,000 rod with a digital chip reel that you'll never see in America. Those dudes are awesome. I love, I don't know about you, but it's something that I do. I will lay in bed at night and watch Japanese, videos completely in Japanese, and watch guys fish, not understanding a word that they say, just to watch.
I just want to see the bait they're using.
Exactly.
Dude, I love it. And that's how I found out about so much stuff. Like the Jackal JDM stuff, they're already using it, and then they come in the United States like a year later. But Jackal's a big one. Depths. There's a lot of depth stuff over there. Amakatsu. Dude, I can't understand the word they're saying, but I can see what they're throwing, and that's all that matters to me.
I'll tell you one to have on your radar's Flash Union.
Flash Union.
Flash Union. It's one that I've been really keeping my eye on. They're very, deep JDM, but they make some crazy stuff.
All right, let's see here. Let's go with some questions. Oh, I gotta give a shout out to my man Frank Hazley. He's a sub for a long time. He is in 4th place in the BFL Super Tournament on Kentucky Lake on the co-angler side.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
He's a great guy. So I gotta give him a shout out. It's tough to make a top 10, top 5 in those, especially in a Super Tournament. It's a 2-day deal, so I'd love to see him sneak in there, at least get a dub, maybe top 3. Let's see here. What about the 13 fishing crankbait with the metal bill? Good or bad? Well, I can't tell if it's good or bad because I don't have one in my hand, but you know how I feel on people basically ripping other people's ideas off.
So tell me about the metal. I don't understand the. Explain it to me. I've not ever used one. I know it was a thing a long time ago.
We're talking about the axis, the hinge joint. Let me make sure.
Yeah.
If he's talking about the axis, like the new Jabber or whatever, it's so early '90s. A guy had a patent for a style crankbait like that. Well, patents are only good for so long. It expired in your patent only. He never put anything out. He just had a patent on paper. He had a utility design on it, I think, and he never done anything. So it expired in 2002 or something like that. I can't remember. And long story short, 6 cents. They come out with that Axis prototypes 2 or 3 years ago. It's been teased. Everybody knew it was coming. And then basically 13 Fishing makes a social media post and is like, you don't even know what you're talking about. You're not innovator. You tried to rip somebody's patent off and all that. And I'm kind of like, if the patent's expired, it doesn't matter. So eventually Z-Man's patent on that blade connection will run out, I think. I don't want to get into talk of legal terms I don't know about, but I've been told by several other people in the industry, like, hey, there's several companies waiting, because when that blade connection patent goes out, there will be some really good bladed jigs in the United States. And I'm just like, hey, 13 Fishing, I like the idea with the Jabberjaw. I like how y'all put the metal cheeks in it to make some noise. Don't come at people like that. Oh my gosh, that's a great looking dog.
Yeah, say hi to Bexley. Hello. It's my golden doodle. She's my girl.
Yeah, we got a little dog, and I can't get it to stop pissing in the kitchen. I take it out to the bathroom 10 times a day, and it's like, hey, the 5 minutes you're not paying attention, I'm going to go pee in the kitchen.
Well, there's Bobby. Bobby's in here too. Lord, the whole house is coming down around me.
But yeah, so that's my deal. Don't come at. It's just a terrible marketing idea to come at somebody like that. I'm like, hey, you didn't do your research.
Interesting.
And I know Casey did. And anyway, I'm sure it'll work great. I do like the metal part, but here's the deal on the Axis, and I've got one behind me. I don't know if you've seen it in person. I'm sure you've seen it in person. But a lot of people thought they were going to get a crankbait, and it was going to sit there and chatter like a chatterbait. And it really doesn't. What it does move back and forth, but because it does that, it makes this bait have a real erratic roll. And I wouldn't even say a hunt. It's like a dart. And then it do this number and then dart back. It ain't straight. And at first you'll throw it and you'll be like, man, I don't know about that. And then the more you throw it, then you're like, okay, I like this. Now, does it replace a square bill or a bladed jig? No. But it don't dive really deep. To me, 2.5, 3 foot max. But man, you talk about in the fall, want to imitate just a fleeing bait fish or something like that. That's a deal.
So does the bill make it sink or no?
No, it doesn't make it sink. But I will tell you what it does do is it gives this bait an amazing amount of flash. Like the gold one, you're like, whoa, that's almost like a spinnerbait crankbait hybrid because of how much flash is coming off of it.
Huh. I'll have to pick some of those up. That's very interesting to me.
Yeah. The blade doesn't go all the way left or right. A lot of people thought it was. Whereas the 13's supposed to go back and forth and make a chattering action. I don't know if it will or not. We'll see. I'll definitely play with one. That's it. Hey, Illuminathan wants to know, hey, Alex, do you have a code for Beast Coast?
I don't. We actually don't do codes because of... So, Beast Coast, we got started as tungsten direct. So, we go direct from the factory instead of going in between. And so, by doing that, we sell that so cheap already that we can't use codes because we'll actually lose money on the tungsten purchases if we do codes. So, we'll run sales every now and again. Is the Labor Day sale still going on Tackle Warehouse, Kevin?
I think it's up. I think it ended like Tuesday. That's what I tell guys. Go to TW and use Alex's link.
Yeah, use my link. But that's about the only time you're going to get, unless we run a special specifically. You know what I mean? It's just we can't because we'll lose money. I mean, we've got that stuff as low as we can get it without breaking us.
That's a really good follow up to that. And there's nothing wrong with discounts, but a lot of our smaller companies are trying to do different stuff. And I know the guys at Beast Coast are good people, so support them.
Yeah, Derek is awesome. Derek's the man.
Let's see. Here's a Wake Forest getting their brakes beat off by Clemson. Well, I never would expect Wake Forest to hang with them anyway. But
yeah, I was about to say, did we expect anything else?
Water is wet.
Yeah, so water is wet, sky is blue.
All right, here's a good deal. Robbie Robinson, what's a smaller company that has the potential to become the next 6 Cents?
Huh. I'll be honest, Beast Coast.
I was probably going to say.
Yeah, we have a lot of really, really cool stuff like on the horizon. Nothing that I can talk about, but it's honestly all just time and money. I mean, everything is that, right? It's time
Yep.
and money, and if we can get that, then we'll be good.
Well, I think a lot of that is too Casey at 6 Cents. Great bait designer. He has some really good marketing brains behind him. That whole,
Yes.
you know, their social media posts in general, just for all the looks and they, the photos, they're next level. So that
Yes.
makes a big difference. I've argued with people and they don't believe me, and they work for different companies and they are already in big box stores, and they're like, no, that stuff don't matter. I'm like, well, your brand's so far ahead of everybody, it doesn't matter. But when all these other people start catching up to you, you're going to be, oh, well, we should have hired a guy to do this and do that. I'm like, slowly they're turning around. But,
yeah, well, I mean, with the rise of my generation, the next generation, I think there's one thing that they definitely value, and this is me being aware of my generation and the next generation, and having an ear to the ground because I'm a teacher in an elementary school setting, so I get to be around kids who are the upcoming generation. They've put a tremendous amount of value in transparency
mm-hmm.
and realism. And so one of the biggest marketing approaches that if I was somebody trying to start any kind of company right now would be transparency and realism.
Right.
And when you put the baits into the hands of guys who aren't going to just spew out a ad or talk like your traditional fishing TV show where it's like, hey, Kevin, today we're going to be throwing this here Spro rock crawler on our 7-foot crashing rod. Yeah, and when you put those baits in the hands of these guys that are vlogging and making content, guys like me, guys like you, guys like Darian, guys like Ben, guys like TJ, and you have a very transparent, realistic look into what they're doing, what they're actually throwing, the success of the brand is going to be tenfold what it would be if you were to hire a bunch of old hats to make a bunch of ads that don't mean anything. You know what I mean? And I think that's really where you're finding a ton of value in these new companies.
I tell guys all the time, you're not going to, if you want to watch actually fishing stuff, there's a lot of better channels. But, and I've never said I'm trying to be, of course, I'd like 100,000 subs and I'd love to do this for a living, and maybe I would, but my deal is I love talking about the baits. I love getting the baits in and showing something where you go, ooh, I want that thing. Like, when I pull stuff out like that JDM bladed jig with the plastic lip, the rubber lip, that's where I get excited.
Yeah.
And I want to, I tell guys all the time, my fishing's different. I go out there, and if I know they're start biting a jackhammer, I cut it off, and I'll tie one of those JDM baits on. Because if they're biting a jackhammer, I can't catch one on that, and I will never throw that again.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, we got this super chat here from my buddy Bill Morgan. Vol for Life. I posted with him on a message board. Great guy. It's a great show, bait man. I'm a crankbait mark and would rather catch 5 on a crankbait fishing rip wrap than 10 flipping a jig. Go Big Orange. I'm like that. I love
Go Big Orange.
I love cranking.
I do too, dude. I love
They don't
cranking.
bite the big plug on Kentucky Lake like they used to be. I don't know what's up.
Yeah.
They smash it on Pickwick, but man, on Kentucky Lake, I tell guys, if you never experienced a 10XD bite on a ledge, you're missing out, dude. When they eat that thing, they just smash it.
But damn near jerk the rod out of your hands, dude. It's so awesome.
Oh, man, we got another $10 make you holler white whale fishing. Great show, guys. Been waiting for this one for a minute. Get some baits for Baitman Jr. I appreciate it, white whale fishing. And he actually just asked a question, so I'm for you. When do you start throwing the Beast Coast Creep?
The creep. So the creep for me is a early season bait. March, April is really when I find the most success on that thing. again, kind of when those fish start keying in on those big gizzard shad, when they're looking for that big meal to get ready to spawn, that's when I'm going to start creeping that thing around. You know what I mean? I had a ton of success on it. Got a few really, really good key bites on Chickamauga this year, and it actually helped me and Caleb put together that 29-pound bag that we caught down there, which was just a phenomenal day. But that's when I really start throwing it and focusing in on it.
Well, that's awesome. I'm kind of like, for me, for Swimbait, that magic window for me here is like March to mid-April. I've caught a lot of fish in February, but what I catch in February is like one big one instead of like a big sack.
Yeah.
If you want to catch a big one in February, you throw an A-rig or you throw a 7-inch paddle tail Swimbait and you fish for one bite.
And just
it'll
and you're
happen
gonna get
too.
one absolute giant. Yeah.
But you have to throw it. Like, so many guys pick up Swimbaits, and I'm sure people was like, man, how do you catch fish on those? You got to throw them. And I don't mean bring it to the boat. I mean throw it all day.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, Dennis Kleinbrink. Hopefully I got your last name, Dennis, right. How good is the Magic Flick?
So I don't drop shot.
Yeah, I can't answer no drop shot questions other than the Robo Worm.
I can't. Yeah, I mean, I don't drop shot. I found a ton of success on the Magic Flick on a weighted wacky rig, rigging it kind of funny. First year I ever went to Ben's, had a ton of success fishing it up there. Came down here, had a ton of success on it. And I've also found some success on it fishing it on a Ned rig head. But I'll be honest, for what it's made to do, I don't do that. So I just like, it's good. It's a really, really good drop shot bait. I don't know, like, I don't know how to answer the question. It's good. You know what I mean? It's good if you like to drop shot, I guess.
Yeah. You know, drop shot catches so many bass, and there's so many more ways to fish it than just dragging it out in 18, 20 foot of water. Guys pitch it around docks. They pitch it around shallow. I mean, Brad Knight won the Forest Wood Cup throwing it in like 3 foot of water next to laydowns. Me, I'm going to, if it's a laydown, I'm going to pitch it, I'm going to flip it, Texas rig it, buzz bait it, whatever, and they're pulling out a spinning rod with a drop shot. So,
yeah.
Let's see.
Interesting, right?
Got more questions here. I got to address one thing. You've probably seen this. First Blue Ball BT says, Alex Rose is my favorite channel. There you go.
I'm glad.
Thanks, Blue Ball. He has a great channel. I've been watching it for a long time.
I appreciate it.
Shady Banks says, suck to see Matt's tackle get stolen. Maybe we can do a lure fund me for him. So if you don't know, my buddy Matt Robertson, Mr. On'em, I'm sure you've seen Alex, fished at Sam Rayburn. His wife took the vehicle with her shopping or somewhere. She's a extremely nice lady, too. Great person. Someone broke in and stole all of his fishing gear. And Matt's not joking when he says everything I own was in my truck. Pretty much, if it had to do with pressure washing other than his main unit, or it had to do with fishing and how he makes his living outside of pressure washing, it was in that truck. Other than it was his boat. I just have a hard time believing that somebody doesn't know something. Because, dude, it's not easy to get into the back of a vehicle like that, and the amount of stuff they had to take. I feel like it might have been an inside job. Like
that's
somebody,
tens of thousands of dollars.
Somebody knew what was in his vehicle to just randomly pick that out. Like, I'm not saying it was a pro or anything like that, but somebody had to know, like, that trip.
Maybe somebody. I mean, we've had a rash of break-ins around here, and it's people. They watch them for days.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, they're professional criminals. You know what I mean? Like, they're professional criminals. So
yeah, it wasn't like totally. It wasn't like it was totally random, but it was like a professional group of. I mean, dude, here several years ago, the local tackle shop here, we consigned boats outside the shop. People would drive by all the time. They had 3 stolen in like a month. Cameras on them and everything. And on one of the cameras, this crew just runs in. They back the truck up super fast. And another guy's got a plasma cutting torch. Cuts it instantly. It's on. They're out in 35 seconds. I mean,
that's incredible.
Those aren't crazy. People driving down the road and go, hey, Billy, I got a good idea. let's go jack this Triton boat. And then they go out there
Yeah,
and they
no.
fall on their head, getting out of the vehicle and all that. These are people that know what they're doing. And
Yeah.
they actually found that boat like 3 weeks later, 100 miles away, floating. No trolling motor, no graphs, no motor, no jack plate. It was just basically a bare hole.
That's crazy.
Those people knew what they were
That's
doing.
absolutely crazy.
Let's so. All right, Chris, Alex, what's some rod and reel combos?
I'm all lose. I use all lose everything. What specifically you're wanting to know about, ask me, and I will gladly indulge you about exactly what I use. I use all kinds of different stuff. So
Dan DeMan says only a few reviews on Tackle Warehouse for the Stealth Blade, and they're all bad. Thumbs down. I'll buy one and check it out. You know,
huh?
I've noticed on TW lately, the first reviews I've seen about any bait are like negative.
Yeah, the trash. Like everybody's trashing everything. Like I don't trust the reviews anymore. I don't know if it's just like the haters have moved from YouTube to Tackle Warehouse.
That's what's happening.
What it is.
Everybody's like, hey, check out this bait on Tackle Warehouse. No offense to you, Alex, or me. I do the same thing. So people get on there and they're like, you know what, that bait sucked. I'm going to make a bad review. The YouTube comments, man, used to be just... I don't get that many. I wish I got more because I do enjoy reading most of them. But sometimes it's like the armpit of the internet.
Oh, dude, yeah. People get wild on there. Like, I tell people all the time, like, how do you deal with haters? I don't care. Like, if a person's going to judge me off 8 minutes of my life, then I've already lost the battle. So let them judge.
Yeah, that's... I do like watching the comments on like a Rogan podcast. Because, see, you can't comment on live. But you can comment afterwards. I can't... Can you imagine trying to keep up with comments if you're Joe Rogan on a live? I know why he turns it off. I'll do good to keep up with them when I get 230 to 500 people on here. Usually, the last couple of weeks, dude, I've been having 600-700 people live. So, we're at 240 now. There's something about... I'm going to tell you the secret. If you're going to stream, you really need to start at like 9 p.m. It seems like the later I'm on here, see the people.
Everybody's just sitting around, is what it is.
Everybody's doing something from about 6:30 to 9 o'clock at night on Saturday. Only losers like me are sitting around and doing nothing. So, no offense, Alex, you're on here with me.
No offense taken.
All right, let's see here. What's up, Austin Hicks? The Baitman TV, does Alex like the Midas touch on them loose rods?
Do I like the what now?
He said the Midas touch. I don't know what that means.
Midas touch. I'm honest to God, I don't know. I'm not really sure what that is.
No. Now, you want to know something crazy? My main boss that I work for at Pella Windows, his dad is the guy that designs rods for loose.
Really? Yep. That's crazy.
Yeah. He doesn't like it when I wear my Daiwa hat in work very much. But so his dad used to also design the old All-Star rods. The good ones. Yeah. His name's Bob. His name's Bob Brown. So
my dad is like, and that's all he talked about is like he just wishes that they would bring the old All-Star rods back.
Yeah, they were good, dude. So
they were.
You can let him know the guy that used to design those, he's designing the loose rods.
Well, good. Good to know. No wonder they're so good.
Yeah, dude, I'm pretty impressed. I fished several of them. I like them.
I tell you, man, I used to be a G-Rod guy, and I love Glenn, and G-Rod is an amazing product. The best rod, in my opinion, out on the market. Just crazy technology. But, dude, Lose is just for the... Here's my deal about everything that I do. If I wouldn't, if I couldn't, and I wouldn't buy it myself, it's hard for me to tell somebody else to go buy it.
Yes.
And everything that I have in the Lose lineup, except for like my Pro TI and my Hyper Mag, which I just got just because I wanted to just try them. You know what I mean? Everything is in that 99. Let me back up. Everything's in that $59 to $129 range, like affordable gear. And that's like the thing that I love about Lose is it's affordable gear that people can go out and buy about anywhere, and it's backed by a really, really, really good warranty. So like, and here's the deal. A lot of people think like, they're like, oh, you get all these Lose rods and reels for free and they pay you. Yes, that's very true. But the thing is I go through the warranty process just like everybody else does when something goes wrong with one of my rods or reels. And like when I call them, I don't tell them who I am. It's not like I call in. I'm like, hey, this is Alex Rudd, and they're like, oh, Alex. No, it's like, hey, I have a problem with a rod or a reel. Can you help me fix
Right.
this? And they just help me fix it. And then it's not until the end of the process when they go, where do I need to ship this to, that they find out it's me. You know what I mean? And most of those people over there, it's a very tight, small, group of people who work in the Lew's factory. And they're like, oh, hey Alex, how you doing? It's like, I'm good, man. And they're like, well, sorry about the rod breaking. We'll get you one sent out. And it's awesome, dude. It's humans helping humans. And I
Yeah,
love
man.
that. So,
They have really good customer service at Lew's. Just from my dealer days and stuff like that, I never had issues with them. And look, people's rods are going to break. People's reels, stuff's going to go wrong. But if you take care of the customer and the dealer, you can't ask for more than that. I mean,
no, you can't. You can't.
I know even the pros, they're like, yeah, I've broke several Lew's rods. They're like, but it doesn't bother me because when I call them, they're like, all right, we'll get one out tomorrow, and it's there in 2 days. Like,
Yep.
whatever. And I feel like this, just because a rod breaks don't mean it's a bad rod. I mean,
Absolutely not.
there's some rods, if it broke, I want another one just like it. I don't want to go try to buy another XYZ brands to try to get something similar. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, and I mean, dude, you got to think about what we do to rods. I don't care what materials you make them out of. I mean, the absolute hell we put some of these rods through,
Yeah,
man.
I mean, if you want one that doesn't break, buy an ugly stick.
Exactly, and that's the thing. That's what I was about to say. Is you look at a lot of these brands and like, well, this brand doesn't break, or this brand does. It's a lot of it has to do with they're not using high grade materials and they're integrating a lot of glass
Yes.
into the rod so that they can be abused by people who don't know a ton about fishing and don't know how to treat their equipment. And that's just,
Yeah,
I don't think a lot of people understand.
Yeah, I
that.
get to putting. I start seeing thumbnails from certain YouTubers talking about their new rods, and they've got this thing. It's been over, and it's hanging 800 pounds of test and all this. I'm like, yeah. Well, it's also not, got the backbone materials of an NRX or a G rod or something like that. It's dumbed down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, that's one of the. It's like when people go, I love to buy. I want the farthest casting reel. How far is it cast? I'm like, man, casting distance is nice, but it's not the number one reason I'd ever buy a reel.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I just like it being smooth. Number one,
Mm-hmm.
I like on a reel. I like the way it fits in my hand is almost number one. If it don't fit good in my hand, I don't care how far to throw.
Yep.
And that's the thing. There's some Lew's reels that fit good in my hand. Daiwas fit really good. There's some that don't. There's the same with Shimano. Casting distance outside the top fin. I like it easy to do maintenance on, and I don't do a lot of maintenance, but if I do want to do some, the drag and adjustability is my top three on that. But these companies measure drag different ways too. One company says it's 20-pound drag, another company says it's 12-pound, and they're measuring two different ways. But
Yeah.
that was a rant.
A lot of variables, and what's funny is most of them are all made in the same factory.
I know, it's so crazy.
They just slap a different sticker on
Yeah.
the side of them. The best thing, my favorite thing, I'm looking at all the Shimano comments. I love to call them Shimano fanboys. I've
I
had
used to be.
Shimanos. I've had Corrados. I've had, the K's. I've had the old green machines. I mean, I've been there, done that, touched it all at least once. Fished with a lot of different crap. And I swear to you, up and down, right now, blindfold you and put a Lew's Super Duty in your hand and a green Corrado, like an old E Corrado. I swear to God, you couldn't tell the difference between them. Like, that Lew's Super Duty, the way it's built, everything about that reel is just right. You know what I mean? And, like, be hard-pressed to really find the difference.
Yeah, like I can tell you could tell the difference in a Daiwa because you'll hear the click of the T-wing.
Yes. I've had some Daiwas too. I had several what's their like not their like, main, their big like
to a CT.
flagship. Yeah, like a Tatula. Like I had the Tatula. What was the all black one they made there for a while? and it had the gold T-wing in it.
The 150 maybe, all black with the gold T-wing. Zillion maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. I know I got a really good deal on it because it was one of those deals. It was like a $300 reel, and I ended up getting it really affordably on
It's
eBay.
probably a Zillion or Steez.
Yeah, man, love that reel. Great reel. Still, I handed that reel off to my dad. My dad still has it. Loves that reel. I mean, just a lot of good stuff, man. Corrados, they're still kicking too. So I mean,
Oh man, let's see. Some guys are saying in here. I still use a loose speed spool. First reel they made after the company started back up. That $89 reel has caught me some change, dude. That $79 loose speed spool is a great reel. I don't care.
oh, it's awesome, dude. It's the $59 one's amazing.
Yeah.
I've tried to kill it. Like I put it on my frog. They said, listen, we're coming out with a $59 reel. And I was like, all right, I'm going to try to break it. And David over at Lou's was like, okay, try to break it. You're not going to. I was like, oh, I will. I was like, I'll break this reel. I've not broken it yet. Like, I'm trying really, really hard, and I've not broken it yet.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. We can debate about rods and reels and if it's made in this factory or that factory. At the end of the day, dude, it's personal preference.
Absolutely.
And two, I've gotten so used to Daiwas, that's all I want to throw. Now I got a Shimano SLX, great reel. Would I have qualms about Lou sending me a couple reels and say, hey, bait man, use our reels, put in a few videos? Heck no, man. I like their stuff. Oh, dude, Menendez throws that Pro TI all the time. Oh my God. I picked that thing up. He had it on forgot what it was, and he was throwing a Rage Craw on it, and it was light as a feather on a loose rod. And I could drag it, and I was like, dude, I can feel a fart. He's like, I'm telling you, it's good stuff. And then I jacked one like 4.5 pounds. Of course, we're in Lake X in prime time.
That happens.
Yeah. Here's the deal, man. People can say what they want. Lake X is 100 acres. It is tough. Like, I'm editing this show Menendez. He caught 4 bass all day. All day in the spring.
Really?
It can be tough, But I love
any lake can be tough. I don't care what anybody says.
There's nothing wrong with fishing in a private pond or lake or whatnot, as long as you're doing it for fun. And who cares if you want to make a YouTube video out of it? I'd rather do that than film Walmart challenges.
So here, I want to do this because you know the history of this like I do, and I love to always talk about this when it gets brought up.
Go.
So Shady says that I got some Lew's reels that were made by Shimano. So, fun fact. Shimano, when they were making Lew's reels, did not make reels. They were making bike parts.
Basically,
and so
they're buying the gear. It was the gears.
It was the gears. And so when Lew, the creator of Lew's, went looking for the best place to manufacture the gears for his reels, well, he went to the best gear manufacturer in the world at that time, and that was Shimano. Yeah. And after Lew's came out with the first low-profile casting reel and had a crap ton of success on it, the people over at Shimano went, well, let's get into the reel making game because it's not that hard. And they started making reels, and that's when they actually had to part ways. And Shimano started, and Lew's continued to go on. Just some really fun history there. Like, that was one of those things that I've researched about it, and like it's really awesome to see where these reel companies started to pop up and how they got going. You know what I mean? Like where they came from.
Yeah, and here's what I tell people all the time. They'll ask, well, would you rather throw a Shimano or Abu Garcia or whatever? It can be anyone. And this is a little bit of the old school Shimano fanboy in it, but they actually start out as they're a watch gear and bicycle gear company. Like, fishing's just a little side deal of Shimano, and it's just happened to get really huge. But dude, they're like #1 in the bicycle market, and they make tiny watch gears and stuff like that. And you're right, the old BB 1NGs and GS and stuff, the old Fritz reels, the ones that say Bantam, it's because they got Shimano gears in them. The rest of the reel is a Lew's reel, the gear part. But I think that's kind of cool, and I would love to see a big collaboration with like a Shimano Lew's come out with a throwback like BB1 Pro that's
like 1971 re-release with a totally modern take on the Lose BB1.
And let
Like,
put some
that would be
Shimano
awesome.
gears in it, and Lou's do all the cosmetics and other stuff. That would be cool. And you know, I actually think the top companies, you know, Daiwa, Shimano, Lou's, they probably work more together than they do against each other. You know,
Oh, absolutely, they do. I mean, in the manufacturing space that they're in today, they
do
have
all the
to.
sales reps know each other like the brothers? They don't like go to ICAST and go, there's some bitches over there lose. I can't
Yeah,
stand them. They're like walking over. Oh, dude,
yeah,
I love that new reel. Let me play with. I mean, this is how it is. Only us people on
yeah.
YouTube get like that. But all right, let's answer a few questions. Miss Bethany's probably like, dude, are you coming to bed? It's like, if it's
Yeah, I'm about to go like a minute more or two, and then I'm gonna have to crash because I'm like
all
dead to
right.
the world
Well,
right
I'll tell
now.
you what.
So
We'll just. I might stay on streaming. If you guys want me to stay on, I
okay,
will. I'll pull Alex off here in just a second. But
let's answer a couple more. Give me like a really saucy question. Only saucy questions. Only saucy questions. I'll answer one saucy question, and then I'm out. I'm out.
can I
So
answer the question? Can I ask the question?
yeah,
How
go
do
ahead.
you
Be
feel
saucy.
about, because you've never done it, how do you feel about YouTubers slash pro anglers that are paying money on Instagram and YouTube and whatnot for people to have to go subscribe to their channel?
Oh, dude, let me tell you something. I've already addressed this once on my own Instagram page. One of the most annoying things that I've ever had happen to me, and it still happens, is I will post a poll on Instagram, and I'll have like 12 of these pro angler accounts that respond to the poll with some generic bullshit
Yeah.
that is just bullcrap because they're paying for their followers. Most of your pros, your bass fishing pros, pay for their followers because, in truth, and I'll say this about myself as well, bass fishing in the realm of fishing is just a tiny microcosm. Bass fishing in the grand scheme of sport is a tiny microcosm,
Yes.
and bass fishing in the entirety of the outdoor world is even a tinier microcosm. And so I think it's the most annoying thing ever because here's the deal. I've never paid for followers. I've worked for everything that I've got. And, you know, people, they come to me and they're like, man, give me a shout out, or like, what, you know, follower thing should I use to get more followers, or what thing should I do to get more subscribers? And I'm like, it's really, really simple. Post every single day. Go and this is advice for anybody that wants to get going right now on Instagram. Let's just say Instagram, a great example. Post every single day. Go to the search tab, search a relevant hashtag, go to the recent, and comment on the top 10 posts. Don't comment generic bullcrap. Actually look at the post, invest into what they've got
Right.
going on, and leave a very genuine comment. Let me tell you something. I've grown 5,000 Instagram followers in the past 3 months doing that, and it's what I've always done, and it's just what I know works.
That's why he doesn't
YouTube
comment
is
on
the
mine,
same
because I'm
way.
not in the top 10. But if he
Exactly, man.
does
It's
comment,
exactly
I know
why.
it's legit. I'm like, damn, how many good
Yeah.
posts if Alex liked and commented on it?
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
you got to answer this question. This dude's been spamming real quick. What is your favorite line?
Oh, favorite like fishing line, like top or
I'm going to say
brand.
brand type.
So I've been using a lot of Strike King lately. I love the Strike King Pro Grade. I've not had any issues with it so far. I'm also a big Sunline fan. I love Sunline. Had a lot of good success with it. But if I had to go like price point, I've got, you know, just a little bit of money to spend, and I got to go buy a bunch of fishing line. P-Line CXX. Man,
Old school.
it's hard to beat it, son. It's well rope. It's good stuff. It's not like $25 or $35 fluorocarbon, but it's gonna put fish in the boat.
Now, more people are starting to pour in, but that's okay. Last question from Bass Monkey Fishing. Last question of the night for Alex. The 3 YouTube channels you watch religiously, if you even watch other channels.
Oh, okay. So 3 YouTube channels I watch religiously.
You don't have to say me, because not a lot of people can want to watch my stuff because it's too long. So
here's
me.
the deal. I tell everybody this, man. I literally don't have time to watch YouTube. Like if I tried to watch everybody's YouTube crap, I would
That's
be
how I am.
so Yeah, I mean, I would like just literally sit around and watch YouTube all day. But no, but realistically, the three that I watch the most is Greg Blanchard. I love his
I'm
channel.
getting into his stuff.
Kayak dude, I'm loving everything that he does. He's one of the few YouTube channels that I can sit down and watch his entire video. Casey Neistat, every time that man puts out a
Dude, it's
video, it's
fire.
sauce. It's so good, so I go and watch it. And then my third one is kind of like a rotation. Like I'll watch a few different ones, but there's a guy named Syntax77, and he does hiking vlogs, and they're like hour and a half, 2 hour long videos where he goes and hikes backcountry
Mm-hmm.
trails. And dude, it is like some of the most like dude you it's almost like a you just turn it on and chill and watch it. Like on a rainy day, like tomorrow's gonna be rainy and
Mm-hmm.
crappy outside, I'll turn this dude on and just go watch him hike.
Really?
Like it is a
Is it
funny thing for me, but
is it
it's awesome.
entertainment or is it like, dude, his videos like really legit?
Like it's just such a so there's nothing amazing about it's not like a Casey video. You know, like a
Yeah.
Casey video is like I watch Casey to get ideas.
Right.
I love Casey. I love the story
Mm-hmm.
he tells, but I watch him. I'm like, ooh, I want to try that, or ooh, I want to try
Mm-hmm.
that, because I'm always trying to make my camera skills
Yeah.
better. With this guy's videos, man, it's just like this relaxing. Like I can edit a video and have that in the background and just like keep up with what he's got going on and just listen to the sounds of like he really lets nature just be itself in his videos.
All right, before I get you off here, I'm fixing to boot you off so you can get to bed with your loved one. Here's one you need to
Yes.
look up. This dude, when I
All
first
right.
seen it, I was like, I don't know about this guy, but dude, if you want to learn to, and I need to implement up your Instagram game, some camera stuff, just quick little things, and especially if you want to do any photography, look up this guy. His name's Creative Ryan.
Oh, I've seen him.
Dude,
Yeah.
he's
Good
kind of got
stuff,
the
dude.
Eminem vibe going, but
Yeah.
his like, dude, he can roll it in Premiere and what's the photo app that I never use? Lightroom.
Photoshop. Oh,
Dude,
Lightroom.
his
Yeah.
Lightroom stuff, like I'm looking in like. So check out Creative Ryan. So,
I
all right,
will.
Alex, we're
I
gonna get you
will.
to bed. I guess I'm gonna stay on by myself for a little bit because it's only 9 o'clock my time. Anytime you want to come back on the stream, Alex, you just let me know. You're more.
Absolutely,
You're
dude. I'm
more.
gonna have you on a podcast soon,
Hey,
okay?
man, anytime. So, guys,
All right.
we're gonna let Alex go. I'm gonna knock you off Skype too, Alex. So, thank
All
you,
right,
guys.
guys. I'll see you
Yep,
later.
thanks, bud.
Bye.
All right, Rudd is gone. I'm gonna get him off here. Oh, yep. So I guess it's just me all by myself. I'm gonna change the box here. Gotta change the box. Alright. See if I got the box filled up or not. I can't tell. See how I'm looking on YouTube. I'll be able to tell now. We got 250 guys in here. Kind of disappointed on the numbers tonight, guys. Not gonna lie. Got a little low on the number of viewers in here. It's usually like the last couple of weeks. It's been like 400 or 500. I can't tell if I'm covering up the full amount on this thing or not. Hold on, just a second. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go out here. All right, I think I'm back in here. Gotta fix this webcam just a little bit. Oh. All right, let's see. Like who is the last YouTuber? Alex said it was. I forgot something 77. So, all right, I'm back to full screen like always. I feel really weird because I was all squared up. Now I'm like smashed. So, let's see if I can pull this up just a little bit. Get this a little bit. I'm not smashed here. Well, I'm glad Alex Rudd joined. So glad for him. Dude, me and him could talk for a long time. So you guys need to let me know who else you want to see pull up in here Saturday night stream. You know, we got college football on, so it's cool. It's going to be changed. So I think I might swap the streaming over to Friday nights. Just to be honest with you guys, I know Fluke Master streams on Fridays, but here's the deal. College football is one of my favorite things in the world, and I just feel like Friday's a great night where I can do it late, you know, after the family's got their stuff. I'm taking off this, by the way. Hopefully y'all can still hear me. Gotta get that daggum headphones off. It's hot. I'm gonna open the door too. I gotta go pee, and we're gonna talk. All right, I'm back. I'm back. So, I did get the tackle warehouse order. So, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a normal unboxing instead of a live unboxing. Because if I try to unbox this thing live, it might take like 4 hours. But I'm really going to try to. I got that. I was going to do a video about these JDM baits. In fact, I probably will. But man, been killing me at work. So I apologize, but my number one priority really is getting this TV show done with Mark Menendez. So I'm not going to be making too much content. I will try to do Baitman during the week, during the day. So it seems like I would almost rather make 3 videos that get 1,000 views than try to shoot for one that makes 4,000, because it's easier for me to just go ahead and get me stream in the middle of the day. So, but anyway, I'm going to jump off. We've been streaming for 2 hours 11 minutes, so I'm going to try to go Friday nights. I'll still continue to do Saturday, but if I do Saturday nights, it's going to be at like 9 or 10 p.m. or after Tennessee gets done playing if we continue college football. So be cool if you could get Luke Duncan. He keeps it real. Man, I've reached out to Luke a few times lately. He's a busy guy, man. Busy guy. Casey from Sixth Sense. Man, Casey, he just said, I'll leave the streaming up to you. That's what he said. He's a great guy. So some of these guys have more to do than me. So Brent Anderson will get back on here. As long as Brent's got some internet over in the world he's at right now. Brent would probably come on here. So, but I have never heard of Bass Addiction Twitch sticks. Only thing I unboxed a little bit, eliminating, was this right here. But I did get the tackle warehouse order. I just opened it up to make sure everything in there. I didn't break much down. But yes, it is there. And there's some good stuff in there. So, Baitman, do you have any problems with your Bass Mafia ice cassette boxes cracking in the heat? No, I don't, Steven. Believe it or not, all my Bass Mafia boxes, other than one, has always held up. Now, that's not saying things don't happen. And the one I've got, which is my lipless box, I had to tape. It was a bad boat ride, but it was just in one of these right here. But as far as the rest of them, I've never had an issue. But the bait room does get hot, but it's not. It's insulated around it. It just doesn't have AC in here, so keeps a lot of super heat and stuff. Debo's Fishing would be an awesome guest. I'll reach out to Debo. I will be putting Mark's TV show online. They're going to go 2 weeks after they air on TV. They'll be on his YouTube channel. I'm going to start putting a lot of stuff on there. Gerald Swindle, you guys can go off on Pradco together. Yeah, that'd be a good one. Me and Gerald would. But Gerald's not gonna do that, and I really shouldn't. And Gerald doesn't really. He's not gonna play. He's got more to lose than Bateman is what I'm saying. Actually, AN40 is good line. Silver thread AN40. So I will say this: if Justin Sword from NetBait, it's family time for him. But Sword is a great guy. He'll do any kind of. He might could do a Bateman midday with me. Yeah, that would work good. So what's up, Simon? But I would love to learn how to be better on Instagram as well as YouTube. Man, Alex is right. Consistency and creativity. Dude, I'll be honest. I struggle on Instagram to post every day. I'm trying to get better at it. But and YouTube, man, this is the first kind of content I've uploaded all week. It's a stream, and I can tell you a big, big time difference that if you upload to YouTube regular videos, content grows. So I need to do more of that. I'm only 200 subs away, or 200 some subs away from getting 15,000. Let's try to get that by the end of the month. So, Mr. Gambler, what is the soft plastic behind the blade on the ground? The one on the regular jackhammer is a Hog Farmer Spunk Shad, and the other one is the OSP Spec Stick 2 that I talked about on YouTube. And you get them on the hookup tackle. So, anyway, I got to go hang out with the family. I worked a lot this week, and I go back tomorrow night. So, look for an unboxing tackle warehouse order very soon, probably Monday or Tuesday. Or I'll do maybe I'll unbox it on Bateman midday. Whatever you guys want. So, I'm going to jump off here, and I appreciate everybody. I'm glad. I'm sorry about Alex falling out a little bit, but we got it working. Greer, what should my first YouTube be about? I'm not going to tell you what it should be about. You do what you want to do your first YouTube video about. So, you know what? I've got a lot of advice for people if they ever want to get into YouTube. And it may not be the right advice, but here's the deal. Doesn't matter what advice I give you or what I don't give you. Cole, you need to stream, buddy. There's my next guest, Cole and Jay. We'll get Cole and Jay on here. Cole, if you and Jay are down for next Saturday night, I think we're in the same time zone, so I can go a little later. Let's go. I'll DM you on Instagram. So there's nothing hard about streaming. You just kind of got to realize your audience. It's not like